Welcome to Cranky Live Sports Talk, where passion meets action.
Hey sports fans, I am Cranky, and this is the Cranky Live Sports Talk, the podcast where we dive deep into the hottest topics, the biggest games, and the most controversial moments in sports.
Whether it's football, basketball, track and field, cricket, or soccer, we've got you covered with expert analysis, insider interviews, and unfiltered opinions.
Join me as I chat with the biggest names in sports, get exclusive insights and stories you won't hear anywhere else.
Cranky Live Sports Talk is where you can hear the real talk, the hard-hitting questions, and the hottest takes.
So, if you're a true sports fanatic, you don't want to miss out? Subscribe now to the Cranky Live Sports Talk on YouTube and hit that bell icon to never miss an episode.
Cranky Live Sports Talk, where sports come alive. Subscribe today.
Good evening, everyone. Good evening. I said Fresh was here early. Fresh got thanks as usual. Bless up. Thanks everyone for being here. Drew Ross, Ernest, Murray. People, as you come in, as I've always said, just hit the like button. I've been going to be saying this ad nauseum that it's important to hit the subscribe button. It's important to hit the like button, and it's also just as important to share so others can watch these videos or come to watch us live. And let me know if you can hear me, everyone. Andrew Hines, bless up. Thanks for joining. I have a packed agenda. Ted Dexter. Mr. Hope, thanks for joining also. I have a packed agenda this evening. As I've always said, this is a sports channel. It's not as a football channel, and it's not just a Reggae Boyz channel. It's a sports channel. So hopefully, if you're not varied, and you don't like a variety of sports, you can start improving your intake of sports and expand your horizon. If you just love football, we talk a lot of football, as we normally do. But I must save the best for last. I must save football for last. Because there's a lot to talk about in football. And I know Gunnar's boss was here earlier. I can't wait for him to join. I want to catch up with him at some point. So there's a lot to talk about. What I'll talk about first is we have T20 World Cup, which is when West Indies is doing well. We have basketball finals this evening, NBA finals. We have Euros, which are heating up. Bless up, Eco. Thanks for joining. Eco Reese. We have track and field, and there's a lot in that space that's happening that we also should catch up on. And then we have COPA coming up. So I won't go football for football, meaning Euro to COPA. I'll go Euro to track and field, then come to COPA, because we are very much focused on our football and what's happening with the Reggae Boyz. And when you get to play in what I would consider the second most prestigious regional tournament, and you're part of that mix, it's a big deal. It's a big deal. So love to have the dialogue and love to have your engagement active. Don't just have me do all the talking. I do have one or two clips from the Reggae Boyz just sent out to the media that I do want to play to hear some of the perspective, especially Hector, who I think I've had a very interesting journey with the Reggae Boyz. But let me jump into the cricket first. I know some people like my crank to just run through the rest of the things on first, so we can't just talk football. Because I know someone the other day says, I forget the person's name, may have been Chorus, maybe I'm saying it wrong, who said I only talk basketball. And those of you who have been listening to me know that's not true, actually. I do talk a variety of sports because my interest is varied. And the little video I play with me, I wouldn't call it DJing, me talking to a beat. You see, I also played a lot of different sports. I wouldn't know if I played them well, but I played a lot. So anyway, thanks for joining. So now, enough for the cricket. The T20 World Cup is going well. As you know, many of you know, obviously, if you're on this channel, then a lot of you would have support different teams, but mostly may support the West Indies. And the West Indies have struggled over a number of years in the long form of the game. Mostly, they've won a couple of T20 World Cups in this century, which is great, but they've struggled with the long form, which but suggests that we're a little bit impatient because long form cricket takes a lot of time to settle into bat. or to bowl with discipline to get players out. So for the World Cup, there are 20 teams. And those of you who may have stopped following cricket because the West Indies were so dismal may not realize that we have the Ugandas and Papua New Guineas and Scotland and Netherlands in it. So there were 20 teams in it. And the West Indies had in their zone, they had Afghanistan, Uganda, Papua New Guinea, and New Zealand. And anyone who knows cricket would have said, well, bless up Fitzroy and Nitro, thanks for joining, would have said, well, Afghanistan is a brilliant spin bowling attack, but that country is reeking with violence and issues. And it's sort of shocking that they have a cricket team that's out there playing well. New Zealand have perennially played well in cricket in all the formats and have done well. So you'd expect maybe it's a New Zealand, Afghanistan, West Indies to fight out for the 2 slots, because in the World Cup, there are 5 teams in each zone. There are 4 zones, 20 teams, 5 teams in each zone in 4 zones. The top 2 teams go to the last 8. And you play 4 matches in each zone. And tonight, West Indies will play Afghanistan, but and the game doesn't really matter because both Afghanistan and West Indies went through. West Indies in their last game were able to beat New Zealand after being 30-something for 5. And actually, as I said, I'm a bad man against. I turned the TV off at 5 down, but a sneak peek to see where we were. And we came back and won after Rutherford, brilliant display. So West Indies have played well so far, but bless up Midnight Cowboy. Difficulty for West Indies is the consistency or lack thereof, right? Batsmen play well, bowlers bowl well, and vice versa. I would say it's more the batsmen most time who fail than the bowlers. And as you know, it goes back to technique. And as we talk about football and midfielders, technique. Can't just use the physicality. You don't have to be the greatest. If you can bowl really fast and just keep them on the line, you can get wickets. But batting is about technique. You get to the pitch of the ball. Are you patient? Do you assess the ball and how how the ball come out of their hands? There's a lot of things that goes into cricket that's a batsman that you have to incorporate in your repertoire and you have to consider when you're making batting decisions. And I'm not sure West Indies does have the technique as they used to back in the old days that they should. But having said that, West Indies play Afghanistan tonight. Not sure I'm going to watch the game because it doesn't matter. The 2 zones have been decided. West Indies will be playing and Afghanistan are in different zones. We've skipped the Australia zone and the India zone, which you want to. England is our zone, as one may imagine. So we and South Africa hasn't impressed me, even though they have been winning games. So you would expect us to have a good chance, and you're going to play 4 games in this, 3 games, I'm sorry, because you have 4 teams in each zone. 3 games, and then you go to the semifinal. The top 2 teams go to the semifinal. So I think West Indies have a good chance to make the semifinal, actually. And hopefully they do. And it bring a lot of interest and revenues into the region. Obviously, the games are being played in the U.S. and the Caribbean. I think this series of games, as you are now in the second round, are Caribbean games. I didn't see any games in the U.S. The games were played in Dallas, New York, and Florida, Fort Lauderdale. So it should be interesting going forward to see how that works out. And hopefully West Indies will do well and play well. Their batsmen just need to be more thoughtful at the crease. Don't have any dot. But the thing to me in cricket is this, and I watched a game the other day. I forgot which team it was, where they had almost no dot balls in their innings. So that's up, Chris. You have to get rid of dot balls. Every ball counts for you to score, and you just have to bat smart. So hopefully they win, and it'll be interesting to see how the games progress. I'm sure, when you're at home, which the West Indies is home for the West Indies team, they play on different islands, different locales. You do have home support, and hopefully the home support will have to bring them across the line. But they have a good team. They have a good bowling attack. The spinners at the top do really well, and the Josephs of the world coming behind, and Shepherds of the world, and Russells also do well in terms of keeping the score down low. So no one has scored 200 on them so far, but they haven't really played anybody apart from New Zealand. And they'll play Afghanistan. We'll see what they do against Afghanistan tonight, because Afghanistan bowling attack is ridiculous. So we'll see how they do, and hopefully they do well. People, as you come in, please hit the like button. And as I mentioned at the outset of the discussion, I have about 5 topics to talk about this evening. I just sort of round up my cricket discussion, which I'm rounding up. Next, I go to basketball. Then we will talk about the Euros, track and field, somewhat. And I say somewhat because trials are not here yet. We're not closing up the trials. Or we're close, but we're not that close. And then we'll talk about the Reggae Boyz, obviously. So that's it for cricket, unless anyone's having any comments. I still realize that most of the people here are not into the cricket per se. But I would say this. I do go on YouTube and look at some of the channels, and they have a lot of views. Now, we know there's a 1.4 billion people in India. They're probably has the highest population for a country in the world. But then in Asia, that region, whether it's Bangladesh or Nepal or Pakistan, and Pakistan did poorly. The surprising thing at the tournament is the US making the second round, which is not normal, frankly. But obviously, it's mainly Asians who are in the US team, but it's shocking that they made the second round and played well. They beat Pakistan, so they played well. They deserve to be here. And I'm sure the ICC, who's the cricketing body, would love to see the US get much more involved in cricket, would love cricket to be a hit in the US. Because the T20 format is right in the US ballpark, because US audiences they don't have time for anything that's too long, right? If the game goes over 3 hours, then people just lose patience. You go to a football game, baseball game, basketball game, during intermission or during any time of break, they're giving you entertainment. They don't want to make you bored. They want you to have an experience. I think cricket can provide that, actually. And so they're doing that. Any Jamaicans? And that's a good question. I don't know if any Jamaicans on the US team. There are a few West Indians in the team. I'm not sure if they're Jamaicans or not. Someone in the chat probably can tell me that. Says Nedra says it's amazing me how the West Indies is not a country yet Jamaicans support airplane. Well, I think West Indies is a unique thing, right? Started from way back when. Nitro, it's a unique team. So, yeah, I assume that what you're saying is that how we can't support our own, but we support a broader Caribbean. I actually think we need to function like Europe does, which is, think about it. Europe competes, but it's not competing economically apart from England, who had Brexit, right? They compete, but they're not competing economically. They have their own economy for their own country, but they sort of pull what they do, and probably mainly is to think of everything about the large economies like the Indias, the US, the Chinas. Europe population is not big like a Nigeria. I mean, the population of Europe is challenged to be bigger than certain countries. Brazil, 200 million, Nigeria, 200, 1.4 plus in India, 1.4 plus in China, Russia, 300 plus million. So, and you look at England, 60-something million, France, lower than that. So if you want to compete, you have to pool resources, which what Europe has done in some respects. But they also compete for sport. They compete amongst themselves, right? So it's going to be interesting going forward to see how the Caribbean sort of get together and realize that as an individual country, it's very hard to compete. You need to pool all your resources and break down your borders. Because I'm not sure why you wouldn't. No, you got to get rid of the guns if you're going to break down borders, because Trinidad and Jamaica are out of control, and Haiti is just a failed state. So anyway. Fabi is saying very soon you see the Netherlands with a better team in cricket. They're adding more Caribbean players. Yeah, I think it's like football, where you look at France's team and you would think France is a majority Black country. You look at their team today. Sure, their entire team. They have a few people like a Griezmann or Rabiot and Hernandez, but most of the team is, I would say, 7 or 8 of the 11 players are African descent. So it's interesting in terms of Europe and diversity there. And it's more reflected in sports, which is a little bit disappointing, frankly. And I don't want to get into that discussion this evening, but you would hope that what we see in sports is a reflection of society at large, and it's not, right? And to the contrary. If you go into the financial service, for example, in Europe, there's a dearth of Blacks in the industry. And even so, no, more African nowadays than even Caribbean people, even though West Indians were in England much earlier than, much more so than the Africans who came over later. But Africans, a lot of the Blacks are West Indian went over for the Windrush generation. None of the Africans come over to go to school and stayed and have done well. But it's an interesting dynamics, actually. So let's jump to basketball. I won't spend a lot of time on this. I won't spend a lot of time on the basketball. like Ghana's boss. It look a bit early, no Ghana's boss. Yeah, that's about look a bit early for you to call me. If you want some patience, Ghana's boss. If you reach your phone yet, man, let me look at dissertation thing first before we jump on the phone, Ghana's boss. So we're not ready yet. We're not ready yet. And BM said, cranky ball. Mbappe broke his nose. Yeah, I saw when he headed the guy's shoulder. Now, if you break your nose, can you really breathe really well? But they're going to strap him up and put him on. There's no way he's not playing for the rest of the tournament. No way. Mindset is saying the Western team is a team that represents the Caribbean internationally. Individual islands don't get represented internationally in cricket, so each island supports to come back. Yeah, it's basically one team, right? It's like you pool your resources. It's one team. It's like here in the U.S. we have 50 states. Some things are federal and they pull together, and some things they do their own thing, especially when it comes to their own laws. Right? They have federal laws and they have state laws, and two sometimes don't match. So, and they have their whole different way in terms of operating. So, consider the Caribbean as sort of federalist when it comes to cricket, and that's the only thing we do federalist-wise. That's a federal construct where you bring together all these different locales and islands and countries to come together. And even then, it's the English-speaking Caribbean, and Guyana is not in Caribbean; it's South America. So you can say it's the countries that England at one point had domain over versus quote unquote Caribbean per se. So in basketball, obviously Dallas won a game, won by over 40 points or 38 points, what the number was. Totally destroyed Boston. A little bit surprising. I think they have adjusted for each game, but I think also they're helped by Porzingis being out. It's not just the fact that Dallas played well. Porzingis changed the game, both in terms of him playing away from the basket, so he pulls away the bigs for Dallas, so they can't. There's no rim protection, so Tatum and Brown can just drive to the basket. And secondly, he also can shoot the three-pointer, so you have to defend him. And he's a great rim protector, at least in the series he has been so far. So it's going to depend on Porzingis' health. But if he's not available, it's going to be interesting to see what Boston does and how that works out, because I do think it may be a little bit challenging for them, given how Luka is playing. Now, one thing I'll say, boy, Luka can't defend a lick. I saw Luka. I've never really watched Luka and his defense. I know he wasn't a great defender, but just watching him closely, he's awful. Awful defender. So we'll see what happens going forward. But I don't think teams have exploited him as much as they probably should have. No, he's big. He's about 6'7", 6'8", have size, but you can go around him in a joke. So it'd be interesting to see how they play him tonight. Does Brown or Tatum try to get him on pick and roll and take him to the hole and see what he does, get him in foul trouble like they did the last game and get him out of the game? I think that should be a strategy. If somebody's not a good defender, then you have to exploit. You hear Speed and I talked the other day about when I interviewed him. He wanted to exploit someone's strength, but as I said before, he's exploiting the weakness in their strength or the way they play. I think you have to try to exploit Luka. So if you can make him play on defense, then he burns energy, and he also gets in foul trouble. So he's not that good on the offensive end, or will not be as effective, I would think. So let's see what happens. Yeah, the Joker. The Joker, one could say, is the best in the NBA. I mean, Giannis, the Joker, Embiid, all great players. Luka is also, who was a scoring champion this year, can be considered in that category. So you probably have 4 or 5 who could vie for that best. Actually, the interesting thing about that 4 or 5 is, Luka, Joker, Giannis, Embiid, none are American born. You let that sink in. None of them. And if you could think about the 70s and the 80s, there were very few European basketball players, excuse me, in the NBA in the 80s and early 90s. And you're seeing a proliferation of them in turn of the century. And there's so many now. So the game has gone international because the NBA is all about revenues, right? It's all about money. How I can make more money. I play overseas. I get sponsorship. It's a global world. And so they operate. So I'm going to watch the final this evening. It comes on about normally 8:30 this tonight. They didn't play over the weekend. They're trying to draw as much of the viewership as possible, because the finals have not drawn that good this year. Last year numbers were better. They had not drawn up. I bet if the Knicks were in the final, it'd be crazy. Or Knicks LA, Boston LA always draws really well. This final hasn't drawn well. So it should be interesting. But you guys should, if you don't watch basketball, you should watch it. It's interesting because my nephew and I have always had this back and forth. He came here 2018, and when he first landed on these shores, obviously he lives in Jamaica all his life and came here when he was about 16. And he no basketball, no football. I said these sports are stupid. Why am I watching them? They makes no sense. He's not sure why I watch them. He'd never like them. And now he likes them more than I do. And I keep telling people, when you come see them for a while, you watch them, when you understand the sport, if you're sports oriented and you've been athletic in your life and you love sports, at some point, I think, NFL, NBA, you're inclined to watch them at some point and get to like them. So it's good that he was converted. Who would I pick for MVP this year? I think Joker was the person, actually, who should have gotten it. It's between Joker and Luca. But Luca's team was only great to me in the last 20 games when they went 20 and 20 and 20 or the 22 or something like that. I think no, Brunson was brilliant, right? And one can make a case for him, but I think the person who was racking up triple doubles and playing brilliantly, when he doesn't play, it shows how his team doesn't do as well, was Joker. So it's deserved, actually. It's deserved. Now let's jump to the Euros. And the Euros have started out well. The games are interesting. And what I find about the Euros is this. I think Mbappe says, the Euros are the most competitive football competition. And that would seem to, from his perspective, more competitive than the World Cup. And initially, you're taken aback by such a comment, because you're like, well, Europe is not the world. So why would you think that? But if you look at some of these games and the quality of the games, but also not only that, the difference between the top teams and those teams at the bottom there, it's not materially different in a lot of instances, actually, right? It seems like every team can compete, apart from Scotland, who were awful against Germany. They looked poor, and going out 10 men didn't help them. And Scotland have been decent. They drew in the World Cup last time with England. But most of the teams have competed. You saw today's games, Romania. I didn't watch the game, but I know they won 3-0 and won well, is my understanding, which was interesting. They beat up a Ukraine team who have some decent players, including Zinchenko, that plays for Arsenal, and Modric, who played for Chelsea. You see Belgium, who are... Now, if you want to think about a team, a country that has underachieved football, I'm not sure there's any country in football was underachieved more than Belgium. Like, it's crazy. At one point, they had their golden generation. They're now ranked number 3 in the world. I think they had won like 15 in a row before this tournament. And yet, they've been poor. People, we're 60 people in the chat. Please hit the like button, please. We only have 45 likes. And also, if you haven't subscribed, please do so. So you have Belgium, who lost to Slovakia 1-0 today. They had some chances. They scored a couple goals. One was offside and one was a hand by a Penna. I'm not sure why he didn't play more in that game. Kid looks like he has quality. Bless up RR. Thanks for joining. Bless up BM, Fabi, all everyone in the chat. Thanks for joining and be part of the dialogue. I'll put up your comments if I think it's something that we should elaborate on. So it's interesting that they continually underachieve. Fabi saying Romania did really well. They stuck together and used their opportunity. Yeah, and I think that's what we got to think about in football also, which is if you get chances and put them away, that's on you, right? That's on you. If you get chances, you don't put them away, that's on you. And that's what we see in football. I watched England play yesterday against a good Serbia team. And what was interesting in the England game was this. So England started off like a ball of fire, playing the ball well. Bellingham looked like he's a Ballon d'Or to come winner. Saka was this, and Apollo is in the chat. By the way, Arsenal 101 is one of the channels I spend a lot of my time on in this forum. And Apollo runs Arsenal 101. And Apollo, condolences to you and the family. I know Kevin Campbell, who played for Arsenal, who played for Everton, who played for Nottingham Forest, was your cousin, and he passed away recently. So bless up, Kevin. And may God be with you. And I think Kevin was one of those people who had a lot of charisma, always permeate the screen, always smiling. And I think the public persona he provided seems to be reflective of who he was as a person. I'm digressing here as I normally do, because everybody I've heard, whether it's Sky Sports, AFTV, they're raining tributes and complimentary about the human being. That's how you should live your life, right? You should leave the earth having done your best as a person in society. And I think Kevin was brilliant at that. And whenever I saw him in an interview, I always smile and say, he seems so down to earth. He seems so reachable. He seems so approachable. And he was always very positive. So bless you, Kevin. And I'm sad that we have lost you. And condolences to you and the family. And Apollo, bless up. And thanks for joining, Apollo. I know it's late in the UK. Probably after 11:30 there. But I know you're also a little bit of a night owl, because I realize that some of the programs you have are a little bit late. So, but anyway, I love you being here, Apollo. Thanks. And also, Apollo is the first channel I've ever been on. I've said this a number of times, actually. And he and Tony and others were very welcoming. And that's why you see I would always bring them on my channel, because they've been very accommodating to me. 75 people in the chat. We only have 57 likes. Here's what I don't understand, people, because, I'm so stingy with the likes. So I'm not going and say, boy, me give you a like, me I give you something. A freeness, I'm gonna say, and a lot of you guys are Jamaican, I love freeness. And I love freeness. Trust me. One thing with Jamaicans, they love free stuff. Even when the free stuff, mean not for them, because it's free, they want it. So hit the like button. It now costs you nothing, not too cheap with no likes. Why am I tell you? But anyway, I was told the other day that I need to speak more, how do I put it? A language that everyone can digest. So means to me I talk too much Patois, but I suggest you get a Patois dictionary, because I'm going to talk both as we go along. Fabi's saying, yo, Cranky, I like this reason. Not love those noisy people going back and forth and fans don't follow the argument. Yeah. So thanks, Fabi. So the Euros, I think they have been really good. I wasn't overly impressed with England, to be honest. 35 minutes in, they were brilliant, played well. Bellingham looked brilliant. Saka was destroying his man. And Apollo knows, that's what I was getting at, that obviously Saka can't beat his man on the outside. He keeps going inside. Well, he was rinsing his man on the outside. Unfortunately, second half, I don't know if he got tired because he'd been injured, or Serbia changed their strategy, actually. It's not just England. Sometimes in football, people, you have to impose your will on people. I think Serbia expected more from England, so they were sitting back. They actually played 3-5-2, because they had Mitrovic and Vlasic up top, and you hear me complain about that strategy. I think they played those two because they're probably the two best players, frankly. Milinkovic is a brilliant player, has been for years now in Saudi Arabia, but they played two up top who were decent. They took off Mitrovic in the 60-something minute. But second half, they came out to play, and it was a different game. It was a different game. Now, I think England, and here's what was interesting about that team. I thought I was watching, the size of Serbia was like a Man City. They're big, strong, trapped, people in that region are normally pretty big anyway. Now, England just looked like a small team, small, technically gifted, skillful team, but looked like a smart team. And yes, Apollo, Gay played really well. I think he had 100% pass completion in the first half. I see him misplaced maybe one or two in the second half, but he played really well. And after replace Maguire well. So Gay cannot be blamed, or we can't say, well, Maguire's not there, so England won't do well defensively. I don't think Stones is the best defender. I think he's brilliant on the ball as a defender. I don't think he's the best defender. So we'll see how that works out. But it was real interesting. I thought England played in spurts and played well the first part of the first half, but Serbia put them under pressure, and Pickford had to come and make a few good saves. The most disappointing player to me in that game was Foden. He was in and out of the game. I'm not sure how he survived the game. I thought when Gallagher came in, he gave him a lot of energy. I don't think Trent fits in as a midfielder. Look, Trent is brilliant at passing long, passing on a dime, free kicks. But Trent don't get by his man. Trent is not good in close quarters, playing good 1-2s, playing the ball behind the first line of defense. And Trent is not great. Trent can't defend himself. I keep saying that. People give me a hard time. Can't defend. So all the attributes you're looking for in a midfielder, I'm not Trent exhibit enough of those to be in the midfield. I think they should have played. Gallagher is going to be the workhorse, like Calvin Phillips was. Calvin Phillips, though, could make a 40-yard pass in a dime. And he also was good defensively. Gallagher run all day. You need legs in the midfield, especially when you're playing with Billingham and some of those other players. But Billingham plays both ways. That kid, for 20 people, here's one thing I'll tell the JFF and people in football in Jamaica. The footballers who we're grooming need to be educated. And this is not to denigrate ability of anyone. Because you hear that kid speak, he speaks like he's a 40-year-old. In fact, he's been like that from day one. That means in his house or where he's been trained in the academy, they have had sessions on me. First of all, he spent time learning, not just playing the sport, learning, develop himself, reading. Kid is speaking Spanish now, frankly, and just went to Spain, right? So invest in himself in a lot of different areas to make a well-rounded human being. You need that in footballers, which then help you to think. And they always talk about decision-making. That translates on the field. The kid is so mature. He has a little bit of an ego, but who wouldn't at 20 when the world is at your feet, right? And his ego does come across sometime when he scores or when he even engages. But he's brilliant in all ways, shape, or form. He's a great representative for his race, for England, for youngsters. And I think kids should emulate him because he has so many qualities that you love to have in young people, actually. Confident, polished, eloquent, intelligent. You don't think about him as a footballer. You think about him as a person and how he carries himself. And he's ridiculous on the football field. I don't think people watch him sometimes and some of the moves he makes, drops his shoulder, turn on someone, play with a sense of disdain when he gets the ball. And I think you're going to see more and more of that of him as he plays. And here's the thing. There'll be a problem at Real Madrid, people. Mark you that Cranky said this. Let me take a sip of my water. Right now, even though Vinicius Jr. has been there for a long time at Real Madrid and has played really well, I'm not sure he's been as embraced as he probably should be, given his contribution to Real Madrid, especially in the Champions League, and also in La Liga, frankly. But this is now Bellingham team. But I heard on the commentary today, they say Mbappe will be making 160 million at Real Madrid. Now, I'm not sure what that translates into. Is that salary? Is that salary plus bonus? Does that include his image? What's the totality of the come up to 160? But if you're Bellingham and you're the La Liga Player of the Year and you're deemed to be a Zinedine Zidane reincarnated, then how is it that this person come in? Because Mbappe doesn't take a backseat to anyone. Isn't he going to want to take over? And you can't have two bulls not depending on. Only one bull can depend. So even though Real Madrid is a star-studded team, they always have a leader there somewhat, right? At one point it was Ronaldo. Not a true leader, but a leader on the field. But Bellingham is a leader, just period. He chastises. He reminds me of Michael Jordan a little bit, but not in the same ilk, whereby you can see him being expressive on the field with his teammates, even though he's probably the youngest player in his team. So it'll be really interesting to see how that materializes going forward. And can the two coexist? Bless up Tennessee, Lewis. Thanks for joining. People, 95 watching, 67 likes. You know what? I'm looking at two different things. I'm looking at my screen and looking at my iPad. So maybe my eyesight is not good because I'm seeing 67 likes. You see me wiping my eyes. Maybe it's not good. Maybe I'll swipe them out again because, sometimes the eyes not work well. I mean, I know me I see 67 likes. Something wrong with my screen. So I'll wipe it again and see if the likes don't go up because I can't. 93 people on 68 likes. That don't make no sense to me. Apollo said, Mbappe missed an opportunity. Yes, he did, and he wasn't even close, Apollo. It's not that he missed it. So he had the ball, he had time, he settled down, he's trying to go far post, and he wasn't close. I thought with his speed, he just go around the keeper and put in the goal. I don't know why he was trying to take it, because the man behind him had a yellow card, so he couldn't foul him, right? Maybe he didn't know that. But even then, even if you foul from behind, it's a penalty, and you get sent off, because it's goal scoring opportunity you're preventing. So to me, I thought he would just dip left, go right, go around the keeper. I was shocked that he missed so badly, actually. And even the chance he got in the first half, when he took the left foot, I thought he could have done better. France got a number of chances in that game. But here's what I found interesting in that game, people. You hear us talk about on these channels, one's ability to keep the ball, right? And I realized in this tournament, most teams are trying to keep the ball. So you hear me argue with some people from the JFF, not calling on name, about keeping the ball and the need to keep the ball even though you may have certain physical attributes that differentiate you. And I think if you can keep the ball, first of all, this physicality and speed, that just makes you differentiate you from your opponent. If you can't keep the ball, you're going to struggle because you're going to be chasing all game. Most of these teams, Slovakia, Denmark, Serbia, all these teams I'm seeing are trying to keep the ball. Not necessarily play from the back deep and play it all the way through the lines, but because some don't want to take as many risks, but they're all to me trying to keep the ball. At least the ones that I've watched, right? Say I have some plumbing problems. Can you give me a wrench? I don't understand United. You have to elaborate. I don't understand that. Because I'm no plumber. In fact, my contractor was here today at my home today, and he said, he basically said I was useless when it comes to these things. I'm useless when it comes to fixing anything. My nephew give me a hard time. Uncle, you can't do this. And I'm like, when whoever made me, I'm not inclined to do this. It's not that was not my purpose on earth. I don't know how to put up anything, right? If you give me something, I can put up my TV in terms of make sure I decide to change up all my boxes today. I can do that, but I can't fix a bolt to save my life, which is awful. But you know what? I have a contractor who is a great friend of mine, and he come help me 24/7 whenever I need help. Chris saying, yeah, cranky, all things try to keep the ball. Yeah, so this concept of, you know what, we should play this long ball on two forward, even Serbia, who played Vlahovic and what's his name up front, the ex-Fulham striker, Mitrovic, they are trying to keep the ball. Why we're trying to give the ball to the opposition who when we win it is a problem for me. I have no idea why. But at the end of the day, if you can't keep the ball in football today, you're challenged. To me, you're challenged, actually. To me, you're challenged. And to me, that was obvious in this year I'm seeing where every team realizes that when you have the ball, the other team can't score, frankly. Flavor Max saying he's actually become a moderator. He's actually to become a moderator. I hear you, Juros. You say I'm slow, Juros. I'm very, very slow. I'm very slow. Brown beer, I understand what you say. I'm not put the thing. It's a crime you have to find. I understand that. I mean, we can't read something that well. It's Chris said, cranky. I'm watching the teams and saying the same thing. Why can't Jamaica put COPA pass together? Yeah, and here's the thing too. The teams are so confident, people. They're so confident with the ball. They're sucking you, and they say, you know what? I'm not passing until you come and create that space, and I'm gonna give it to somebody who's close to me, but far enough away from you can't get it. I'm watching these teams play in the center halves when they get the ball. They stand on the ball. They're like, okay, make a decision forward. You come to tackle me? No, if you don't, I'm gonna stand with the ball until I find a good enough pass to make. Because think about it. Whenever you go chase somebody, if they can get around you, they have space. It's 10 against 10 on the field, people. So if I get around you, then it's 9 against 10. And we got to learn to keep the ball, and we have to improve the coaching. And as I said before, people, at some point in the next week or two, we're going to start a series what we call Coach's Corner. As I've heard that YouTubers don't understand football, don't know football, and we need to learn football. So we're going to have some coach come on and talk us through some of the strategies that they employ, some of the learnings that they have, and how they deploy these strategies in football. So we can all learn the terminologies, the strategies, the style of play, the systems of play, the different phases of the game. We want to learn all these things, right? And want to do it sequentially, chronologically, different levels, so we can learn. So that's in the works to plan on for me to bring on here. Because I think part of this whole process, I mentioned at this outset of doing this, is a couple of things. One is it's for me to learn, but also for this platform to help to teach, right? In a lot of different ways. And that's part of the objective. So it should be good if I can get that done and we can talk some true football. And I hope you people don't tune out, because some of them don't like learning. Some don't like learn, but not like learn. Don't like feel listen and teach. I don't think we know it all, but none of we know it all. Everybody in football, even the Peps of the world, learn. I heard Pep one time sat maybe a whole day talking to Bielsa about football. They going through different strategies and different things. Bielsa is a mad scientist. So even Pep, who's won a lot, continues to evolve and to learn, because that's how life is. So that should be the case, actually. It shouldn't be we think we know everything, so we don't have we don't have to learn something. We should do so. So hopefully the series works out well, and each of you could join me and ask your colleagues and friends to come and join the program. It should be fun. So the viewer is interested in going forward, and obviously they have opened this up because they're trying to make money. So more teams will make it. It's not just the top 2 teams going to make the next round. A lot of teams will make the next round. You'd have to kill yourself to make the next round. But obviously, you want to finish as high as possible so you can play the lesser teams. If the view is that the lesser teams are not like Belgium, who may lose their first game, win their next 2, or win and draw and go through, and then you run you're another team like a Germany, you run to a Belgium, which then causes problem for you. And you play a better teams early in the process, so it should be interesting. Chris is saying, Cranky, something's wrong on the top of it. Couldn't keep the ball on the Paul Ollie was better. Now this coach tap out all over again. No, I think part of what's happening, Chris, is that the coach's strategy and way of playing contributes to not keeping the ball. So if you notice, people, the coach plays 2 up top, right? He played Bobby Reed right, he played Gray left, he played Nicholson and Antonio. That means you really have only 2 midfielders. It's hard to have all the space in the midfield because my 2 center forwards, what I call the Titanics, are going to be close up, far up the field. They're not going to. There's a gap between the 6, the 8, and the 10. Because we don't really have a 10. We have like 2 9.5 and 2 9s because they interchange. So it's hard to keep the ball that way. And also, here's what I would say to my 2 Titanics. I watched Giroud for a small period of time today. If you want to learn how to play your back to goal, if you want to learn how to link up play, if you want to learn how to play, and he can't run, by the way, people. So he's like a true Titanic because my Titanics can move, right? Especially Antonio, pretty mobile. If you want to learn how to play the ball with the right pace, in the right space, with the right timing, watch Giroud play football, people. Link up 1-2, flick, touch, ease, calm, hold the ball up, laid off to his 10, laid off to his wingers, laid off to his midfielders. Brilliant link-up player. One of the better center forwards who can't run, will miss a goal here and there, but brilliant link-up player. That's one to play in tight spaces too. I think it's something that one should behold actually, and forward should emulate. I'm not sure if they are. He ain't got no right foot. He ain't got no speed either, Arnar. So that we know. But just watch him. 2 of the best goals I see ever scored, maybe 3 of the best goals Arsenal scored. Giroud is involved in all of them. The scorpion kick, the one with Wilshere, where they walk the ball into the goal from the middle of the half for the opponent. Cazorla, Wilshere, him, just ridiculous 1-2s. You think you're playing video games on your screen versus on a football field where it's much more difficult. So I'll transition now. But so the Euros is interesting, and interesting to see how France does. They're the favorite along with England. Some people are picking Portugal. Portugal is a very good team, by the way. They'll have to figure out what to do with Ronaldo because I think he's somewhat challenged. Hey, Tony, my Guyanese, my English friend, how you doing? By the way, Tony has a channel for boxing. Tony, you got to put your channel link in the description. I did talk about 101 for Arsenal for Apollo, Tony, so you can put your information in the chat, Tony. Tony's a boxing channel. Those of you are boxing aficionados who love boxing, Tony boxes. Tony go to all the boxing events, whether it's Saudi Arabia, whether it's Vegas, whether it's the O2, whatever the boxing is, Tony's either talking about it or looking at it. Tony said France struggled. I don't think they're really struggling, Tony. They had chances, right? Look at Giroud's miss when the ball bounced on his foot and Mbappe's miss. So, yeah, they didn't dominate as you'd expect, but I think it's hard to dominate in Europe. Very few teams have dominated. Germany, Romania, but it's not a ton of teams have dominated actually. Scotland's been poor. Obviously, I didn't watch the Ukraine game, but they couldn't have been that good against a Romania team. But no, it's interesting. So people, Tony's podcast is the Undefeated podcast on YouTube. Even though the only undefeated I know is Floyd Mayweather, and I think Floyd would have gotten beaten by, who was it? It was the kid from Mexico who he sucker punched because he was having trouble in that fight. But Floyd has been brilliant. Yes, Tony, Spain dominated. And people, here's a stat that you should know, even though I'm going to get beaten from Rudolph Speed about this because he's saying, well, what have they won since 2010? The problem is they don't have any center forward. Spain has outpossessed their opponents in their last 137 games. That's ridiculous. That means they can keep the ball. What Spain's problem is they can't find center forwards who can score. Morata's bound from Spain to Chelsea to Juventus to Atletico Madrid. He's always bouncing around. He's always a starting center forward for some reason. Now they're getting some diversity in their team. So Nico Williams on one wing and the 16-year-old on the other wing will really help them. But at the end of the day, it's interesting that they have problems scoring goals, but their midfield, with the midfielder they have, ridiculous. Rodri, Gavi, Pedro. I mean, Fabian Lewis. I mean, they have midfielders for days. Some you're not even seeing on the field. Zubimendi, midfielders. So why can't we go get some Spanish coach to teach our midfielder how to play football, or teach our kids how to play midfield? Because we have speed up top, both in the defense and the offense. We need to keep the ball in the middle. If we had some of those people, if we had people with modicum of midfield skills to be able to keep that ball, we'd be a dangerous country as Jamaica. We just need to learn to keep the ball in the middle of the field, which we don't do well. So it's interesting. So look, looking forward to watch more of the Euros. It's been going well, and I enjoy it. Now for track and field. And excuse me, people. You hear me say the other day, two of my favorite people are on the screen. That's Shelly and Elaine. And my YouTube thumbnail says, "Are they in trouble?" And what do I mean? So, Elaine, us in Jamaica, we sometimes take for granted the excellence of our athletes, especially our track and field athletes. We're not only competing well on the world stage, they're winning on the world stage. So when you're 3 million people, it's be like a Uruguay in football, where you're 3 million and you do so well, or some of the Balkan countries. If you're Croatia, even if you're Denmark, and you can compete with an Iceland, such a small population. It's amazing that what we do on the track and field circuit, especially in the sprints, as a country, I think sometimes we take our athletes for granted, because Shelly and Elaine have won. I wouldn't talk about World Championship, because the Olympics are the pinnacle of track and field. They've won the last 4. So people, since 2008, they have dominated the 100 at a minimum. We have won a lot of 200 too, which Elaine has done 2016 and 2021. Olympics should have been in 2020. They've dominated. So when you can win 4 Olympics straight as a country, when we have billions of people in the world and you only have 3 million people, let's call it 5, because we have seen the diaspora and some are now choosing to run for Jamaica. I'm expanding the number. It's still a small population. It's amazing that we do so well. Now, obviously, track and field is in our blood, and we also focus and emphasize it, similar to how you see Latin American and South American, focus on football and spend all their time and their athletes pursue that discipline. We have done exceptionally well in track and field. People, 91 likes, 103 watching. I would love to see more likes than who's watching, because people come and go, right? It's amazing how we have done. And you hear me say on one of my last stream that Elaine should never be criticized. Now, that sounds weird. You would say, Crank, what are you talking about? Everybody deserves criticism if they do things badly. But when you're one of the 2 GOATs, and I call them 2 GOATs, Elaine has won more Olympic gold than Shelly. I think Shelly has 3, Elaine has 5. One could say Shelly is the GOAT for the 100 meters. And one would say the 100, if you go for the 100 meters, then you're the GOAT for sprinting. But I think they're sort of equivalent. Shelly has more charisma than Elaine, and maybe that's why she gets more of the love in my view. But I think they're 2 wonderful athletes, 2 sort of heroine in track and field for the world and Jamaica. 2 have made Jamaica extremely, extremely proud. And me, I am extremely proud when I'm watching the Olympics and they're winning. I was in London in 2012, went to the 100 meters final, and it was off the chart. First time feeling like a celebrity, frankly. Being in that environment, wearing my Jamaican outfit and being treated like royalty, frankly. And it's because of people like Shelly and Elaine why that would occur to Jamaicans across the globe when it comes to sport and when they're in certain environments. So I think we should praise them. No matter what happened to Elaine in terms of changing coaches, people want to keep their money. Sometimes these are money issues. Money is always going to be a problem in life. But you know what? She made decisions, may not have worked out, but she deserves her respect. She deserves her support. She deserves her flowers, and we should give it to them. Because these 2 ladies have been ridiculously good. Seriously, ridiculously good. Top of their game for year after year. Think about it. Shelly Ann is running from 2008. She's winning Olympic gold. And this is 2024. Those things that's ridiculous. 16 years. She's what, about 37 now? I think 38 later this year. So to be on top for that long, to perform at that level for that long, takes dedication. It takes a lot of talent, but that talent has to be nurtured, has to be cajoled and managed, and be able to blossom. Obviously, they have good coaches and good teachers and good support teams, but it's about them and their dedication and their work. And so these two. So what was my reason for saying they're in trouble? Well, it's gonna be a tough one. It may not be overly tough for maybe one of them to make the Olympic team. I think Elaine will struggle because if you have even though it's interesting, I think last time if they're running like this, they would not have made a team actually. When Williams was running well, and Kemba Nelson was running well, I'm not sure they would have made a team, right? This year it seemed a little bit different. I'm not sure we have as many athletes, even though we have the Clayton twins. Brianna Liston has pulled out for the rest of the season, have shut down for the rest of the season. I'm not sure they have enough competition. I think Shelly Ann, she ran 11.15, which is not, it's her season opener, so we got to give some allowance for that. But the season is way in advance. We're in June, people. This is not in April or March. We're in June, so it makes it tough, right? But for Elaine, given her ankle injury, I know she went to see the team doctor, the orthopedist for the German national team, Dr. Hans Muller, who also was one that treated Bolt when he got injured way back when. But at the end of the day, it's going to be tough for Elaine. But I think we need to go in their DM and give them support. Don't beat them. These two ladies should never be beaten. No matter how they do from now going forward, they finish last. We say, you know what? Thanks to the memories, keep doing what you're doing. If you want to run till you're 40, 45, we don't care. We have got enough pleasure from you. You have done so well for us. Let's just praise you. And you know what? Just feel elated about what you have done and treat you like the queens you are. And I'm not criticizing you. I'm sorry. I'm going to criticize other people, but you ain't going to be in my list of people I criticize. Not happening. Because you've done too much. You've achieved too much. You produce on the big stage. You produce all the time. And if for Elaine, she changed coaches because of whatever was transpiring, whether it's money or otherwise, that's her prerogative. If Shelly Ann is having I would assume Shelly Ann maybe have some niggles or something why she didn't start running earlier this year. That's pretty close to trial to come out and run your first competitive race. I wasn't against the best competition. But you know what? We love you. We appreciate you. We value you. And you can always be our heroes when it comes to athletics. And we hope you continue, you come back and run well. If not for this Olympics, maybe for the next World Championship or for other Diamond League meets, because there's money to be made. And Shelly Ann, anything you're giving us, we call a brata Jamaica, extra. Anything you're giving us from now on is brata. So if you don't run another race, we've already gotten the brata. So you know what? We appreciate you. So hopefully these ladies continue to do well, continue to perform. And if they don't, we should just say, you know what? Thanks for the memories. Because you have been awesome. Do I think they're in trouble? Yes. Because some of the youngsters will put on good time. I don't think 11.15 or 11 flat is going to make the Olympics team. And even if you do at 11 flat, you ain't going to win no medal. Not with all the other athletes out there, the Toulouse of the world, the Shakiras of the world, some of the other U.S. athletes, the Julian Alfred. It's going to be tough for you to compete or even medal if you're in those type of times. So, yeah. so people, means you have ESP, because you can't say nothing about Shelly, And means you're dropping, wherever you're there, means you're drop. So if you say Shelly, means you did it right away. Right away. Bless up my YouTube mentor, Minzy. How you doing? Bless up and thanks for joining. Yeah, we're just talking about Shelly and Elaine and saying they may be in trouble too. Even if one of the two make the Olympics team, I think Elaine gonna have it difficult because what she ran the season 11.3 and 11.5 something, 11.3 something, 11.5 something. Those are all good. There are times they were good in the old days. They're not good anymore. So it's gonna be hard for her to make a team because even Brianna Williams, I saw her run 11. What was she running? 11.01 or better time than she ran 11.3 previously. So her times have improved. Even her, who have changed coaches, so many coaches, because we're not seeing the best of her, or maybe she has peaked. We don't know what it is. But all the other kids are going to come gunning to do well and to make the team. So it's going to be interesting. Dazrael says, Shelly will have to pace herself. Yeah, she has to pace herself, but why should I pace ourselves slow? It's not a criticism, people. It's just saying, should I pace ourselves slow? Tough Rudy says, if Shelly and Elaine make it out trials in top three, even if it's 11 flat by Paris, they'll be ready. Yeah, it's a tough season, right? That run up 10-7, 10, 10-9, You look at people like Julian Alfred, they ain't running nothing less than Talud. They're fresh, they're fit. Sometimes people peak too early, but we'll see. It's gonna be interesting seasons for some acting in terms of how this goes. But I do think these ladies deserve your recognition and your applause, not your criticism. So, ladies, good luck. Trials are coming up. Hope you do well. And both of you are the GOAT. I'm gonna call you the GOATs. I'm not sure which one to pick as the GOAT. I'm gonna call you the GOATs because you've both been exceptional throughout your career, and you're both are and not only on the track, but off the track. I think Shelly's one of the most polished, one of the most eloquent person out there. And Elaine has done well, and you've branded yourself well. You have great teams. You have done well. And even when your career is over, I'm sure you'll still be in the public light in a lot of different ways and should be treated as such. So tough, you said Shelly is the GOAT. Well, look, tough. Elaine can say, you know what? Between Olympics, I'm always under the weather in terms of my Achilles heel and injuries, but I've won 5 gold medals to Shelly's 3 in the Olympics. So, I almost said 3 now. Jamaica can come out to me. I've won 5 versus 3, so therefore, I should be considered the GOAT. I haven't heard any of those ladies talk about being the GOAT anyway. We are the one bring up the GOAT argument because us people like to say who was the best, period. But I think they won't be brilliant and should be given the acclaim accorded. So I'm almost at the hour, people. If you want to call, you can do so. I'm going to talk football because I'm sure someone will just say, you know what, McCann, this is the cranky number because we want to talk football. So you can call in and then I'm going to jump into football because we do want to talk about the upcoming COPA, which should be really good, actually. I'm looking forward to the COPA. I'm not going to any games. I thought about going. That's someone I normally like the flight thing starts. So I take some time off from the COPA thing. So this is the Reggae Boyz squad for the COPA. And I'm going to play something I just got recently, an interview. You guys can tell me if you can hear this interview that was held by the media house of Jamaica, Simon and a couple of Reggae Boys. So tell me if you can hear this. Let me play the first one. This is by Wes Harding. And by the way, Wes Harding, who was in the squad, hadn't been called for a long, long time. It's interesting how we do this. And then it's also going to have Michael Ector, subsequent to Wes Harding. Michael Ector was in the squad for a while, played really well, to me anyway, was playing in the midfield, played in a tapa. Something occurred, disappeared for a while, and came back. So tell me if you can hear the Wes Harding interview. You guys can't hear? Really? It's resonating in my ear. You guys can't hear that? I stopped it because I see someone say they can't hear. So I thought you could hear what. No. My system is set up right. What are you guys talking about? I'm playing it through the system. It sounded good to me. You know what? Let me try something. I know what it is, actually. I apologize for this. Give me 1 second. No, I think I know what it is. Okay. It's through the system. Yard. All right, I'm going to play it over. No, I apologize, people. I thought you were hearing it. So I'm going to start it over. If you don't hear it now, it's on me.
So we're joined with Reggae Boyz defender Wes Harding. Firstly, Wes, welcome back. How does it feel to be, back with the squad and training as well?
No, it's amazing. It's amazing, Side. Nice to be back. It's been a while.
Can you hear it now?
Over 2 years now, so yeah, over the moon. Happy to be back.
And for you personally, what was your reaction when you got the call from Coach Holgrimson that you'd be part of the squad for the Copa America?
Excitement straight away. It's been a long, grueling time waiting, watching from the distance. So yeah, when he called me, which is obviously a week ago, so yeah, I was really excited. Told all my family. Really happy to be back.
Yeah. And Wes, for those persons that are starting to get to know you or a little about you, let's talk a little bit about your background. Who in your family was born on the island?
So my grandparents, both sides, mom and dad's side, of course, and my mom and dad were born in England. So this year, grandparents, which brought me here, man.
Yeah, and of course, being born in Leicester, you grew up with a Jamaican culture, you could say, with the food and the music.
Oh yeah. Me and my cousins, we grew up like brothers and sisters, like all the family together always around our grandparents and stuff. So yeah, the music, the food, culture, really, really love it.
Yeah, it's amazing how time flies, that debut against Serbia in Japan. Do you have memories of that, just putting on the shirt and taking the field?
Yeah, of course. That was the first time, which was beautiful. I remember playing really well, really enjoyed it. And then obviously the last time was Panama, which was so long ago as well. But yeah, man, I'm just genuinely really excited to be here. It feels good to be back with the squad. I know a lot of the players played against them as well. So yeah, man, we've got a really good squad here.
Yeah, and as you know, it's a big tournament ahead. I'm sure you've been tracking the results as time has gone by. I'm sure you've been watching games from afar. Do you perhaps go online and watch highlights of the game or just track the score to see how the national team?
No, I actually watched the games. I watched the most recent game, both Dominican Republic, Dominica. So yeah, I've been watching, waiting. But yeah, to be fair, this time's really helped me to actually just watch as a fan. Because I haven't actually expected a call-up. So yeah, it's been nice to just watch from a distance as well.
Yeah. And finally, Wes, for you, how much are you looking forward to this summer, your first tournament with Jamaica?
Mm-hmm. Really looking forward to it. As I said, it's a big thing. Like I actually had to explain to other people, this is like the Euros over this side of the world. So yeah, really amazing to be here and can't wait to get started.
So people, that was Wes Harding. People, I apologize. Here's what happened. So whenever I log off my computer, my pod track, which is the system connected to my microphone on my computer, is still maintaining my system for audio output and input. But for StreamYard, somehow it reverts back to my computer. So I'm making the assertion that everything is status quo when I come on and didn't change over the system. That's why I was playing it to myself. So I apologize for that. So let me see if I can find the Hector interview. Now that was Wes Harding, and you can hear in his voice how pleased he is at being here. I know there was some communication or comment about his agent saying, "What has he done not to be in the team?" Those are my words, not his words, to that effect, actually. So you can hear in his voice how he values this tournament, and how, for me, I don't understand why anybody with a chance to play in the World Cup, the Euros, the Copa America, would not take advantage of that. I do not understand that. I mean, I'm not throwing a word for nobody, but that's me. If I was a football player, I'll be making every effort to do so, right? And I'm not sure why that's not the case with some players. But you can hear in his voice the fact that he really wanted to play. So this is Hector.
So we're joined with Reggae Boyz defender Michael Hector. Firstly, Michael, how does it feel to be back in camp with the boys?
Yeah, and obviously we had the 2 games just like a week ago, so it was nice to obviously get the wins. But yeah, it's nice to be back with the boys, train today. Yeah, so it's good vibes in the camp.
Yeah, and for you personally, as you know, it's a massive tournament ahead, the Copa America. You've played for Jamaica in 3 Gold Cup tournaments, 2015, 2019, and 2021. But of course, this will also be a 3rd Copa America as well. I just want you to recap how that feels, being the first Jamaican to be part of 3 Copa squads.
Yeah, no, obviously the first Copa America I was a part of was obviously my debut. And yeah, no, that was obviously a problem for me and my family. I'll never forget that. Obviously massive games, great atmosphere. The tournament's so big. Obviously, growing up, you don't get to appreciate it as much. But obviously, when you're in the tournament, you can see how big it is and how big the teams are, the countries are that play in it. And yeah, the history of it is a special tournament to be a part of. And yeah.
You were surrounded by a lot of veteran players during that time. How much did that help you to get settled in the national team?
Yeah, that group of players were very experienced. Had a lot of games internationally and also club level. And yeah, players like Joby, Gareth, Maps, got Wes, and obviously the captain at the time. They helped me a lot settling into the group. The group was very like a big family, and yeah, it was very easy to settle in. And yeah, I enjoyed my time.
And upon just reflection, really, over 30 caps for Jamaica and having 2 medals for Jamaica, a Gold Cup one and one in the Nations League, just your thoughts about the journey, really, almost 10 years in national colours.
Oh, for me, every cap I got, every time I can have a chance to represent this country it's an honour, and I always do my best. I try, and yeah, no, the journey's been special. It's not ended. Hopefully, there's a lot more special moments to come, special nights, special days. But yeah, no, it's been a fantastic journey, one that I always treasure and want to be a part of for long.
So people, those were interviews conducted by Simon with Wes Harding and Michael Hector, and you can hear in their voice the pride they take in representing the Reggae Boys and how they value it and how they love doing so. And I think it's kudos to those 2 individuals. I know Hector went through a sort of roller coaster type relationship with the, I would say, the organization, not necessarily his teammates, maybe one of his teammates, but with the organization. That was challenging, but he's back now and has played really well. Wasn't that great in the last 2 games, but in the Nation League, I thought he was brilliant and the best player in Texas. And since he's come back to the team, has done really well. And Wes has been away for a while. Hopefully he comes in, gets some game time and play well. So it's interesting that those 2 seem so happy about being here, looking forward to the tournament, but more importantly, looking forward to competing against some of the best talent across the globe, even though they're from this region. And I think as a football player, as I mentioned, it's something that one should really embrace and want to be part of. Secondly, one thing that jumped out at me, he mentioned, when he first joined, and he's been around since 2015. So he's been around for, 9 years? It's a long time to be in a national team, frankly. So he joined up pretty early, maybe about 22, 21, somewhere around there. I think he's like early 30s now. So he's seen the ups and downs and everything, but he's always coming, right? He's always coming when he's called, which is interesting. He reminds me of like Bobby Reid, for example. You don't hear any excuses from Bobby Reid and Hector, except I know there was a situation with Hector. I don't think that's what Hector's doing. But they're always going to come and play, just like you see with a Bernard, for example, more recently. There are some players, when they get called, they come and they represent. They don't have any excuses for not coming, and they made it a duty for them to come and to play and to try to play well. And we do appreciate them, and we should give them their flowers, because I can tell you, playing across the pond so frequently, especially after a long season, can be challenging. But I think they take pride in representing the colors of the country and representing the country and its people. I think the people should embrace them. And I was very pleased the last time that the game was at the stadium against Dominican Republic. The fans turned out, even though there was a mix-up in time and arrangements, but the fans still showed that they want the country to do well. They want to embrace the countries. They're not just fair with the fans. And I think if we have a synchronization between the fans, the players, their expectation, their goals and objective, it will work out really well for everyone. Technic, thanks for joining, people. If you haven't hit the like button, please do so when you come in. I'm at about 750 subscribers. I want to get to 1,000 before the end of the week. If you haven't subscribed, please do so. If your friend haven't subscribed, please do so. If your family hasn't subscribed, please do so. So help boost up my numbers to get me to that number. All right. I'm working hard. I can tell you, I have talked to so many people about subscribing that I have never done in my life before. So it's a new venture. It's a new learning for me, but it's something that I need to do to grow this channel. So I appreciate you being here, but please hit the like button while you're here so others can view it. And if you haven't subscribed, please do so. And please share this so others can join and can watch. Hate to go to this public service announcement all the time, but it's important. One thing that jumped out at me actually about his mentor, he mentioned Wes Morgan, who actually, as you know, was captain at one point, Captain Lester, really influential figure. And I'm surprised that the JFF haven't found some role for someone like Wes Morgan to be involved with the national team, because I think he has the stature and the ability and the intellect to add value, right? I think the JFF has to think about stop being localized and try to be international. So what do I mean? Get people more involved in the program who just sit on the or reside on the island. Because frankly, to be honest, JFF, and you hear this a lot about, sometimes the conflicts are an issue and need to be better managed. But in a small country, you're going to have, let me say this about conflicts, people. I'm going to go off on my little tangents here. Conflicts are innate in life, meaning they're like a natural, like you drink and breathe, right? You're going to have conflicts, especially in smaller environments. We don't have a ton of people for different roles. But it's not that you have the conflicts, it's how you manage a conflict. So if you're in a business, for example, in the US, a public company, they have conflicts. They have what they call a conflicts register. They capture all their key conflicts. They identify what the mitigants, so how you can reduce the conflict. They'll have owner for the conflict, and they have periodic update about how the conflict is being managed. People have conflicts, business have conflicts. If you sell somebody a stock and you make a commission, that's a conflict because you're trying to sell them the stock to make a commission. How do I manage that conflict? Do I disclose that I have that conflict? Does the party who I'm selling to know that I have the conflict? So it's important for those conflicts that the JFF has within its organization be brought out. They identify them. They show us they're managing them. So it doesn't create a public perspective that, you know what, you guys are, people like to use the word corrupt, but you guys are not doing things on the up and up. I don't want to use that word corrupt because evidence people are corrupt. We misuse that word so much. You have to make sure people can get some comfort that things are being done in an objective way, in an independent way. And if the conflict is there, that the conflicts are being appropriately managed and things are not being done to satisfy just individuals, is being done in the right way, even though the conflict reside. So I think JFF should create a conflict register and find a way to manage the register and make it public and identify the conflicts and make them known. That's my perspective. So JFF, think about that. Because this conflict word seems to be coming up over and over again in certain quarters. And it doesn't mean that it's not legit, but it can be managed appropriately because conflict resides in life, period. Right? And the question is, how well do you manage those conflicts? Back to the football. So people, let's talk about the Copa America squad. We have about 45 minutes left, or a little bit less than that. No, a little bit more than that, actually. Let's talk about the squad. Someone's mentioning Maps here as another person. Yeah, but Maps still playing football. Right? Maps still playing football. They can be involved in coaching, and I think a number of those players are probably getting their coaching license. But I think from an administrative standpoint, we need people with administrative skills to be part of the larger JFF, especially some people may reside overseas. They all can just reside on the island. So that needs to be addressed. Big up, Princess Jillian. By the way, people, only a small part of the people who subscribe to my channel are women. I would love if much more women subscribe to the channel and contribute to the discussion. It's an egalitarian channel. It's for everyone, all ages. It's a PG channel too. I would just be trying to make it PG as much as possible. Except one of my friends like to say some non-PG things and we have to check in on sometime. But anyway, so please tell your friends and family to join and come here and have a conversation with me and let's talk sports in general, actually. And when I start my next channel, which I keep mentioning all the time, we can talk other subject. See, Drew Ross saying NBA has a conflict resolution committee. Maybe we need one. Yeah, I do think it's important because, first of all, if you're a JFF, you should be tired of hearing all these negative things about the organization, even though they're lessened of late. It was really bad last year. We're in a new year. We're going to COPA. We're doing well in World Cup qualifiers. The women are back. So that's a great thing. Coach coach said, you still have the PG thing on. I thought I took it off, coach. I thought you took it off, coach. Say, if it on, I feel your fault. So don't blame me if you upon. People, if you have PG thing on, you say some restriction on your channel, and I thought coach took it off and walked me through it. So means if it on, I feel your fault and not my fault. Bless up, know yourself. Thanks for joining. So I do think, Drew Ross, as you mentioned, I didn't know the NBA had a conflict resolution committee, but I know a lot of businesses because I was involved in writing one of those conflict registers. Well, not register. I did a presentation at a conference in Europe on conflicts in asset management industry, which was really, really good. I had to do a lot of research for it. But you'd be amazed what those conflicts entail and how you can effectively manage them and how you can make them transparent. And it can help in giving public some kind of comfort about how things are done and people not being suspicious and thinking that you're just doing things under the table and for your own purpose, right? So it's important. So the cross on the building. Okay, Minzy, me work. You know what, Minzy? And I'm done with the stream. You walk me through how to do it. So because you know, some challenge. You see, I couldn't even get the thing to go on. Have people listen to the interview. I do the interview and listen to it by myself and feast everybody I hear it. So you know that go Minzy. Me need help until me get to be proficient. And that proficiency may never materialize, but I'm gonna keep on working on it. I'm gonna invest in myself, Minzy, until it comes to a good place. But just to end the conflict discussion, which is if you're in a small country with a small population where various roles are executed and done and people are involved in all these activities, you're going to have conflicts. And the nature of certain things that you do in life just entail a conflict will originate, right? The question is, how do you manage those conflicts and make things as transparent as possible and keep people confidence that things are working appropriately? So, S-Technique, I'm not beating the JFF. I haven't beat the JFF in a while, and I will not beat the JFF if they keep doing the right thing or keep making good decisions or attempt to do the right thing. Because sometimes you don't always get it right, you know. You try to do the right thing, it doesn't work out, you get blamed, but it's trial and error a lot of times in life. So no, I'm not breaking them. Those said just get an engineer. No, it's a one-man show. I have a couple of producers, but they have me doing a lot of the work, and I'm trying to tell them they're not producers, they're family members, right? But they're helping me immensely, but mainly in terms of ideation, to think about things and what works. And my nephew, I keep talking about my nephew, but he beat me all the time about this thumbnail doesn't resonate with anybody over 40. So I don't know anybody under 40. So I don't know why you put that thumbnail there. It's so plain and boring. So me and my nephew, I go back and forth all the time. But he's right most of the time, to be honest. And my partner, she also give me a hard time about some of these things. So anyway, it's interesting doing this with family because they can really criticize you and they're doing it for your best interest. So you can't complain, right? When other people criticize you or out external, you may take it personal. When family criticize you, which they should, and sometimes we have yes people around people. That's why, you hear Barkley talk about Jordan having yes men. That's why he could never be successful with his basketball team. You need people to give you constructive criticism to help you in terms of what you do. And I embrace those criticism, actually. It will only help me to sort of grow and expand and do better in this channel. So anyway, so people, let's talk about the team. Let's try to put together a team. Let me try to pull up Squad Builder. So this is the squad, right? And as we just mentioned them quickly. We have 4 goalkeepers, even though 3 are available. I don't think Andre Blake is available. Shaquan Davis, Boyce Clark, and Jamal Wade. And Jamal Wade is not in the squad builder that I use, so we use some other Wade for his name. Even though I think he's the starting goalkeeper, without a doubt. Dexter, Bernard. It's interesting how we use certain first name or last name for certain players, don't we? So I always say Dexter, because we all struggle to pronounce Lambakisa. So Dexter, Bernard, Greg Lee. Some people use their entire name. Greg Lee, we say entire name. We just said Lee or Greg. We said Greg Lee. And yes, we just said Dexter. Everybody understand. Bernard, people understand. It's interesting. Damian Lowe. We also say the entire Damian Lowe name. I'm going to bring this out to talk about Hector. We can say Michael Hector. Richard King. We always call him King most of the time. Wes Harding. I think his name is Harding. Ethan Pinnock. John Bell and Amari Bell. I thought we got rid of John Bell, actually. Maybe I have the late, and it's not the latest. And then we have midfielder Palmer, Lambert, Reed. No, this is the latest team. Marshall, Latibadir, and Kara Anderson. And we all talk about midfield being challenged. And up front, we have Shamar, Cephas, Antonio, Gray, Dixon, and Bailey. So that's Leon is not here. So Leon is out. And I thought Bell was out too. Maybe I have they're not the last. I think this is the latest squad I got. I got to go look for the other squad because Bailey's not here. I mean, Bailey's not here. So I got to go look for I didn't get a revised squad. Did they send a revised squad? I don't, because Bailey's not coming. So I know this was the squad that we have. This was the right squad. But obviously Bailey's not coming. So let me go find let me take this off and then try to do squad builder. And get squad builder up to do this. Give me 1 second, people. And squad builder, come up with some things. I'm not like for my stage, so let me put up squad builder. But those are, so let me know your team that you'd like. Let me know your team that you'd like, what that team would look like, what players should play in what position. And first of all, the first question always is, what formation should we play? So you see on the screen there is, should it be 5-3-2? Should it be 4-4-2? 3-5-2? We play 2 forward, so that's not going to change anytime soon. Nicholson and Antonio and the next 8 players that are up on the field. That's how we view it. So let me start with saying that Waite is going to be the goalkeeper. But I don't think he's here. So I may have to put somebody else's name there. So let me know your team, people. Let me know your team. Who do you think should be the goalkeeper? You don't think I should use the squad builder? I don't have the FM one, actually. I'm trying to put this one up there. You know what? This is FM squad builder. Let me try to put Waite up there. It's not coming up. It says, let me get out of this. It's saying bad request. So I got to go take this down. Maybe this has been around too long. Let me refresh it and see what happens. I can try something else. Let's see if it works. Let me try Pinnock and see if that works. So it's saying, okay, Ethan. And we can figure out what formation. What formation you think I should like? I'm going to use this one for now, know yourself. I like for practice, but I may have a stream. So I may practice next time. But thanks for the suggestion. So what formation we should employ, people? 4-4-2, 5-3-2, what formation? It's a defensive. So let's say 5-3-2. 5-3-2 is going to be interesting because then you won't have... I don't think it's 5-3-2. Let's try 4-4-2. If we go 4-4-2, we're going to do this way. Here's the team I'm suggesting. You can tell me how my team is. And you can tell me your team too. Damien. That's how I view it, actually. This is either West Harding or Lembakisa, but I'm gonna say Lembakisa. You know what? Let me get Greg Lee first. Come here, spell Lembakisa, how long it look like. Andre Moore said 3-4-3 or 3-5-2. That's what's a 5-4-1. You got no set. We don't have no set formation. All right, let's go 3-4-3. Let's go 3-4-3. Let me see if this is here, because sometimes this squad builder doesn't have. In fact, it doesn't have that formation actually. It has 3-4-2-1. It has 3-1-4-1-1, and you can see it here, right? Let me just show you here. See, 3-4-3. It doesn't have that. I'm gonna have to get the other squad builder from someplace else because it doesn't have all the formations. They're set. There's only 2-3. I see that 3-4-2-1 or 3-1-4-1-1. So this is Chris Smith's team, and Chris will come back to your team. I'll put your team up there, Chris, at some point. I'll put your team up there. I'm gonna take this off. I'll put your team. So you're saying, so what formation are you playing, Chris? Before I put it up, what formation are you playing? Chris Smith says West Harding in midfield. I thought West Harding was a right back or center back. Is West Harding a midfielder? I know some people think you can play CDM, but is West... So Farrot is saying Lati, Pinnock, and Bernard. People, let me say this. Damian Loa plays some players. So whether a midfielder or defense in my place, so they better put him in my own team. There's no way leaving on the bench, especially since Blake is not playing. That's not happening.
So any team you put in, close your eye if you don't want to do it and put in Low in there because he's going to be in there. There's no way he's on the bench. Demario McCallum, I'm sorry. I may have missed it. You know what? Sorry. Demario, I apologize. I missed your team. So this is your team. Wyatt, Pinnock, Latti, Hector, Dexter, Keroy, Palmer, Greg Lee, Damari, Antonio Bobby. Very good team, and it may be the team, and I'll put your team up. But people, want to stop the Damian Lowe to the team. I did that the other day on somebody's program and realized, you know what, Cranky, stop your nonsense. He will be there. He will be there. So there's no way he's not going to be there. Let me see if we can find Lambert Keys. Lambert Keys. Why don't I have a picture of him? So I'm going to put your team up first, and then I'll put up Chris's team. And you get people, you can rate the team when I put it up. So what did I do with your team? Damara says, wait. I don't know why we can't find Wade up here. He's not here. So, I'm going to put somebody. I'm going to put up Paul Wade, because you know, guys, we're talking about Jamal Wade, right? I'm going to put Paul Wade. So you have Wade, Pinnock, Latti. So where do you have Latti? Hector. Why? You know what? I'm going to put up, it's your team, so I'm going to put up your team, because I was going to say that that Lowe is going to play. But if any of you think Lowe is not playing, you have another thing coming. No, it's Michael Hector. So I assume then, yes, Greg Lee. Are you playing, hey, DeMar, you playing 3 at the back or 4 at the back? DeMar, let me know if you're playing 3 at the back or 4. I'm just going to put your players up there, but let me know if you're playing 3 at the back or 4 at the back. Let me see if you have Lee. Okay, you have Lee, you have Dexter, you have Hector, you have Pinnock, you have Latti. I'm just gonna move them around. I don't think Latti's and I'm gonna spell Latti wrong. I mean, look up what Latti spell. I'm stop embarrassing myself. Can't remember if I spell Latti by their name. People have them funny name they have me spell. So let me just put up the rest of the people and come back to Latti. Wait, Pinnock, Hector, Dexter. So you have Dexter, you have Keroy. Keroy's here. Why is he not there? That's weird. And you have Anderson. Let me just put K. Because I know I've seen Keroy here before. But his name is not showing up. You're right, people. I need to get a different squad builder. It's not showing up. So let me just put Dev John here. I'm not sure why it's not showing up here. Or am I spelling something wrong? So anyway, that's Keroy. I have to go look it up again. So you have Keroy, you have Dexter, you have Palmer. Though these two switch. You have Casey Palmer. Then you have Antonio. You have Bobby Reed here. We can switch the formation after I'm done with this. You can tell me what formation you're playing. We have Bobby Reed. We have, obviously, Gray has to be here. That goes without saying. So you're only playing one up top then, if that's the case. And then you have Antonio. So you're benching Boza? Really? And he's been scoring all the goal? I find that hard to believe. So that means you're not playing 4-4-2. So let me know, Demario, what formation you're playing, because I'm missing a player here. In fact, let me go back to your number and let's put him in, and then we can switch it. So you have Damari, Antonio, Bobby Reed, Lee, Palmer, Hector, Keroy, Dexter, Latti. Oh, I don't have Latti. So let me look up Latti, how Latti spell. I forget how Latti spell. That is interesting. I find it interesting that so many people believe that I have lots of people here, that Damian Lowe, well, I guess it's your team, but I want you to pick a team that you believe the coach is going to pick, right? Pick a team the coach is going to pick. Don't just pick your team because of what you want. Because we try to pick up with a realistic team. So that's Joel. Obviously, Joel's in the midfield. Let me go five at the back. So what formation you're playing? Let me look for it, Mario. 3-4-3. So 3-4-3. So that means 3-4-3 gotta be here. They don't have 3-4-3. What the hell kind of nonsense? Okay, let's do it this way. 3-4-3. So Lati is playing what? Here. We move Dex Palmer here. We move Gray over here and switch with Bobby Reed. Is this your team? So you have Gray out wide, Bobby out wide, Lati. Well, no, you have Dexter. Let's switch Dexter and Lati. Are you playing Greg Lee in the 3 or you're playing Lati in the 3? Let me know that. Chris is saying, Coach, what? Michelante. Mr. Chris, Coach, what Michelantoni offer up front? We're not getting it from Boza. Yeah, well, what Michelantoni is not scoring. That's a problem. Antonio is not scoring. He hasn't scored in a while. Didn't score in Gold Cup. Didn't score in the last World Cup qualifier plays he played. He's not scoring. You have Matt Center. Okay, so you're switching Lati and Greg. Good call. So is this your team, Damari? Is this your team? People rate Damari's team. By the way, it's not a bad team. And by the way, Paul Waite and Javon Anderson are basically Jamal Waite and K. Roy Anderson. So rate this team, people. Give me a score in this team. Bless up, J. Russ. Thanks for joining. People, if you just joined, please hit the like button. Please rate this team, people. Is this the team? It's not a bad team, I must admit. I would probably make one change to this team, to be honest, because there's no way in Damian Lowe is not on the field. I don't see that. But this is not a bad team. Now, the only question is, can you play Hector and Pinnock in the same team? So Ika Reeks is saying an 8. Can you play, because they're both slow as molasses. I hate to say that, people. They're both slower. Even though Pinnock does play in a back 3 for Brentford sometime. But people, two of them slower. Can you afford to play 2 defenders who are good on the ball, who are positionally aware and play really well positionally? They don't have to go into the big tackles. They can read the game. But speed is not there in their repertoire. Their speed is not their thing. They're not the quickest. So Eco is saying 8. Mr. J saying 7. Rate the team, people. Rate the team. 97 now in the chat. Rate the team. Hit the like button before you leave too and share the thing. Rate the team, people. It's a good team. I like the team. There's a possibility this could be the team, but I think Damian Lowe going to play some players. Whether it's midfield and you take out K. Roy, or whether it's centre half, you take out Hector, but Damian Lowe is playing. As I said, Jamaica, all this by the cook or the crook. So Chris saying, Crank, in a game like this, we need Michael Antonio. Even when I listen to the USA, they say Antonio is the X factor. Yeah, but so all of you who watch football, right? If your team in the EPL has a forward who's not scoring, would you want him in the team? Or would you say, you know what? Even though he holds the ball up well, run the challenge in the channels, bully defenders, good in the air, but he's not scoring, what would your thoughts be? I didn't think he played a really good game apart from the not scoring in the last game he played. So, and if you have Boza, who didn't play really that well, I didn't get enough time in the Gold Cup, but he's been scoring goals since. Can you really put, Boza is why we're here. Boza's the one who hit the Canada net times. Boza scored. Think of it. Boza's been scoring, score against Canada, scoring World Cup qualifiers. Boza has been scoring. When has Boza not scored? Scored in both World Cup qualifiers, scored against Canada. In recent form says a lot. So, J. saying 4-2-3-1, Wait, Lee, Pinnock, Lowe, Lembakiza, Lati, K-Roy. So, we give 7 and 8 to 7 and 8 to the Marius team. Let me. So I know that Chris Smith has given me a team. So let me look at Chris Smith's team first before I go to J. Russ team. Where your team, Chris Smith, is way up here someplace. I'm gonna try to find your team, Chris, and see how. Because I don't expect you to have low in your team, Chris Smith. If we know you, There's no way lower than your team. I'm gonna try to find a team, Chris. I mean, we can repost it. I don't know. I said I'll run away from it because I'm seeing J. Ross's team now. But I think it's gonna be hard for the coach to leave out Lowe. Think about it. Lowe is the captain now, you know. Since Blake, I thought he would give the captain to Antonio, frankly. But no, Lowe is the captain. So if Lowe is the captain, and look, Lowe probably deserves it. He's one of the longest serving members of the team. So you have Bernard. You don't have Hector. So let's put up Chris's team. You can rate Chris's team. And frankly, Bernard has played well. So let me put up Deshaun. Bernard has played well. Why is I'm spelling Bernard right? I know there's a hyphen over his name. You're saying it's not here. Let me try to find Bernard. So you're saying Bernard. Now, if Bernard is here, I thought Deshaun was Dishon. What am I missing? Or did I see it? Let me look it up. If you're saying Deshaun is in here though, so I gotta find it. If you're saying that Deshaun Bernard's in the team, you're taking out Hector. But a lot of people think Hector should be in the team. So how does that work? People, how does that work? You'd think that we should remove Hector. You know, I don't think Hector's going to start, actually. I'll be honest. So let me stop sounding like a person who's saying one thing and doing something else. So Deshaun, okay, so it's a S. Yeah, S-H-O-N. So there's a, but you never really put that out. It's the right spelling. It's just that there is, okay, let me do this. I didn't think that they were that sophisticated and have that here. I still don't see Bernard here. What the heck is this? You know, I need to change the squad builder. This is nonsense. Because, oh, it's one. Okay. Deshaun Bernard is not showing up. This is ridiculous. It's spelled right. It is right. I know there's a apostrophe between his name. It's an uppercase S. I have done this with Bernard before, but it has been here. But anyway, if we don't find it, we'll put somebody else's name there to represent him, which I don't want to do because he should be there. This is stupid. I don't know why this is the case. And why it's not showing up, because it's spelled correctly. Anyway, so Bernard is in there. So you have Bernard, Chris. I don't know why this thing is messing up. I will change this at some point and find a different squad builder because this was not working for me. So Chris, you had Pinnock, Bernard, Joel, Greg Lee, Dexter, Wes Hart. You have Wes Harding instead of who? Who am I missing here? Yeah, Bobby Reed. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So who am I having in here? You have Casey Palmer. Oh, so you have so you're playing him. We're starting in the midfield. Okay, so you're taking out K-Roy. Interesting. You think you would just bring him in and start him? Really? What's wrong with this darn thing? People, I apologize for this stuff messing up. You think he will? You really believe that he will play with Harding? He just came back in the team. So you have Pinnock, Bernard, Latti, Greg Lee, Dexter, Wes Harding, Case. People rate this team. Rate this team, people. Let me hear what you say on this team. So you have Wes Harding, Casey Palmer in midfield. Yep. Rate this team, people. And Chris says bringing on K-Roy. Yeah, no, J. Russ, I got to change squad builder, but I hate to change when I'm in the middle of the program because, you know, I'm challenged when it comes to these things. I'll get a new squad builder for another day because I'm sure we'll go through this again. You know, we beat these things to death. So Eco Reeks is saying, so if you're going to give it less than an 8, just jot down why you're doing so. Is it a specific player or you think it's just a couple of players? Don't just say 7 without a reason, because 7 to me means 8, 9 is the team. If you're saying 7, 6, 5, then you're saying it's a good squad, but 1 or 2 players should be flipped. So Ika Reeks, for example, who do you think should replace who? Think about it. So Chris is saying West Harding will give the back line defense. I'm not sure what this thing pop up. We'll give the back line defensive cover. I don't disagree, but one would say that's what K. Roy is supposed to be doing, right? That's part of his role. Yeah, Christopher, I agree, Chris, but you know how Ekte has been in and out of the team. Low has been in the team, period. So Ika reached 7 is because he believed that West Harding. I would agree with that sentiment, Ika reached. I think Chris has a good point about we're going to be very defensive people. We're playing 7 or 8 defenders, trust me, against some of the better teams. We may be a little bit more, take a little more risk against Mexico and Venezuela, but we're not playing that. But we're going to still play defensive because they're a better ball position team. Ecuador maybe or more challenging. So Chris saying he wants ball players. So you're saying Low doesn't, but how different is Bernard from Low? You don't think they have similar games, Chris? Do you guys believe there's a material difference between Low and Bernard in terms of how they play? They're both very aggressive. They both can go long sometimes. They both are very athletic. I think they have similar traits, actually. Oh, thanks a lot, Devar. I will do that next time, actually. Yeah, I'm trying to do this quickly and not to get them on the board, and sometimes I miss that. So thanks. So, look, I think either team is a good team. West Harding being there, probably more better than K. Roy, but K. Roy, I think, has some offensive tools. Perot said Bernard's passing range is better. That may be true. The question is, does the coach tell Low if it go long to Antonio to Nicholson? That's interesting. So Ikari said back 3 of you know what? You may be on it's gonna be interesting actually. I don't think any back 3 is wrong between Lati, Pinnock, Bernard, Low, Pinnock, Bernard. I thought Lati was brilliant against the US actually. I thought he was very, very good. Playing on the left side, if I remember rightly, in that game. I thought he's mobile. I gotta remember, Lati also has some midfield ability, so he's a ball playing center back when he plays in the back 3. And says, which is better, Euro or Copa? That's a good question. Copa has less team. Copa without CONCACAF is a little bit closer. The question is which Euro has expanded that to a bigger number than it used to be. It used to be like World Cup, like 16 teams, a much bigger number now. And there are not that many European countries, especially in the West. But I don't know. You get people telling me, what you think is better, Copa or Euro? I'd probably say Euro, but you tell me. I'd probably say top to bottom. If it's the top teams, the Brazil, Argentina, to a lesser extent, say Uruguay. But now I would think you think about France, England, Spain. There's more teams in Euro, but I think Euro is better. Chris said, Frankie, okay, the Panama game, we have never looked so organized with Low in the back line. Only change Hector for Pinnock. Okay, interesting. But Pinnock is starting. So let me just say this. There's certain people in this team who I know are always going to play, right? I think Pinnock will always play. I think Low will always play. I think Bobby Reed will always play. We'll see when we get more competition out wide. I think giving great performance, he'll always play. I also think Antonio will always play if he's fit, even though you guys are going to hate me for saying I'd bench Antonio. That's just me. And I know what his skill set is. I watch him a ton for West Ham, watch him even before West Ham, but my center forward needs to score. Unless he's like Giroud, who France just use him as a wall to do wall passes and score. But even Giroud is scoring for France. So, but I don't think he scored in the World Cup before last. I don't think he scored, and they still won the tournament. So, so J. Russ, your team. Let me go pull up your team, J. Russ. Sorry, and pull up your team, J. Russ. I don't think yours was materially different, but let me pull up your team if I can find it, because I gotta go all the way back up. So this is J. Russ' team. J. Russ is playing 4-2-3-1, right? So let's find the 4-2-3-1. This is J. Russ' team. J. Russ says, wait, Greg Lee, Pinnock. Let's change Bernard to low. So that's his back line with Dexter. Then he has Lati. You have Lati in the midfield. I thought we moved away. Sorry. I thought we moved away from Lati in the midfield. All right. So you have Lati, K-Roy, and Gray, Palmer, Bobby Anthony. So I got to take West Harding out and put in, I still can't find K-Roy, but I'm going to type something in. It's not coming up. This is just so annoying. So people, you need to, let me just jump on again. You need to rate J. Russ's team, people. So I think Casey would be here. Lati would be here. Actually, no, Casey would be here. So this is his team. He's playing, he says, what's it, 4-2-3-1? So this is his team. Sorry, this is his team. How do you rate this team? Not a bad team either. We're missing Hector. We're missing, not a bad team. This is a possible team, actually, even though I'd be surprised for him to play 3 midfielders, but it's not a bad team. How you guys rate this team? Let me know how you rate this team. I didn't see K-Roy there. I thought he was there for some reason, but I don't see him there. So Chris believed that DJ and Russell. I'm not sure about Russell. I think Russell was a little bit slow, but DJ has been a been a good servant. So I'm not sure why he's left out. So rate this team, people. Rate this team. Chris is saying Cranky, West Harding, Bell, and Demari Gray were at Birmingham, so they have an understanding. Yeah, not sure how long they played together. And that was a while ago, Chris, because they have moved on since then. But Chris, he will play Chris, no matter what we say. No matter me and you say Chris. I'm not knocking Lowe actually. I think Lowe is a good footballer. But if you had a chance between Bernard and Lowe, I think it's interchangeable. I really do. Yeah, Chris said Russell don't give away the ball. Yeah, Chris, but the coach don't rate him, apparently. The coach don't rate him. He obviously don't rate him. So this is J. Russ. People rate J. Russ team. 7. Won't see a back 2. Ika reads a 7. Won't see a back 2. I'm not understand what you mean by that, Rico. I think the coach is going to play 3 at the back. So you mean 4 at the back, Ika? I think it's 4. Okay, understand, Chris. I won't try to pronounce the first name. Young Kings, Young whatever Kings Entertainment. The best teams in America is Europe. That compete. Yeah. No, I think Europe and back top to bottom may have the better of the two regions. Think about those 2 continents. Yeah, Europe is better. And you think about the last, Brazil last won the World Cup, what? 2002. Argentina won the last one, but in between that, it was what? Spain won 20. Germany won 2014, Spain won 2010, France won 2018. Yeah, so they won 3 of the last 4. So yeah, it's a better continent. Yourself said we losing if we don't use back 3. Boy, everybody get defensive. So people look like I don't love the defensive setup. We know we can't keep the ball, so maybe we need to have 4 or 5 people in the middle of the park. So yeah, I know. I agree. Yourself. We're gonna overload the middle. I'd be curious. I'm sorry I'm not in using to go watch them train and curious to see what they look like. They do kick us out of training at a certain time. So people, the phone line open. You know what? I haven't put the phone banner up. That's on me. 1 second. Let me take this down. So yeah, people. I should have. I forgot to do this actually. That's on me actually. That's on me actually, which is I should have been running the banner for people to call in. So people, the phone line is open if you want to call in. We have 10 more minutes left. I'll go a little bit over because that's my bad. I've been going to the team. But the phone line is open, 347-728-8625 you want to call in. And people, if you just came on, hit the like button. If you haven't subscribed, please subscribe. I'm trying to get to my 1,000 by the end of this week. Bless up, good night. Who am I speaking to? Eco, how you doing? Bless up, Eco.
Not bad. Yeah, man.
What do you have to say?
For me, yeah, man. Looking at this squad and against Mexico, a back 4-1. I don't think the coach will revert to a back 4. He has been playing a back 3.
Right.
Since Gold Cup. I don't think he will change it now. I think it's something he's building on. I see we're defensively. I won't say we have got it, but I see we're conceding less. And show me that Coach Grimmy is a defense coach, really. He's carrying 11 defenders, so that in itself explains.
If you just carry 23 defenders and done.
Might as well.
Yeah.
11 defenders. So I would expect a back 3. And for me against Mexico, I don't think he will. But for me, I would start a back 3 of Pinnock, Lowe, and Bernard. Pinnock.
So back up, Eco. You're leaving Lowe at your team.
No, Damian Lowe, I will start him in the back 3.
So let's go with your team then. So you're saying you do what? 3-5-2? What's your formation? 5-3-2.
I was thinking 3-4-3 because I would want 3 up top.
3-4-3. Okay. Interesting. So you do a 3-4-3. So you're saying you have
waiting goal.
Waiting goal, okay.
Pinnock, Bernard, Lowe.
All right, so let me do this. 1 second. So you have Pinnock, Bernard, Lowe. So let me change this to Bernard. I'm struggling to find Deshaun Bernard here too, so I just put a Bernard there. People, I'm just putting any. Oh, Deshaun is here. Okay. So who's playing the middle of the back 3? Is that Pinnock or Lowe?
No, I'll play Pinnock on the left side at the back 3.
Because he's the only left-footed person there. And then what you do with
right.
So who's playing in the middle?
I'll put Bernard there, and I'll put Lowe on the right.
You think Bernard has the composure to play the center? Because that's a real position that needs a lot of composure.
Yeah. And Lowe neither, so no, I go play at the middle.
No, Lowe is not playing the middle. We agree with that one.
Yeah. All right. Let me. What kind of have Hector and Pinnock in the same back 3 as a problem as well?
Well, no. So you have. I'm gonna have a team Bernard. So who do you have in the midfield?
In midfield, I would start Carral and Casey.
Okay.
And then.
So wait. So Alati's on the bench?
Yeah.
Okay.
Because Lati would have played the left-hand side at the back 3.
Oh, okay. So what you're saying. So you have Casey and K-Roy, Greg Lee, Dexter. And then up front, the top 3.
Yeah. Gray on the left, Boza and Bobby.
So people read this because man, switch out. Antonio.
Yeah, because when was the last time he scored?
People saying give a lot apart from scoring. That's what they're saying.
Goals win games.
I would agree with that sentiment. Actually, goals do win games, and he hasn't been
Goal
scoring.
win game. If you don't score, you don't win.
And here's the bad thing about that: if you're coming from the Premier League and you're center forward, and you're in this region, you need to score goals. If you're not scoring against the minnows, I'm not sure you score against a bigger team. Now he does score some brilliant goals. He just don't score enough goals.
Yeah, losing. And then
rate this team, people. Sorry, Icarus. Rate this team, people. This Icarus team. So he has Pinnock, Deshaun, and Lowe in the defense. I mean, no, someone like not calling name, but no one Lowe, but Lowe in their team. So no, take the Lowe thing out of your thing and just same at the team. No beat him for Lowe. Then we have Greg Lee, Palmer, K-Roy, and Dexter. And up front we have Gray, Nicholson, and Bobby Reed. Let me hear your team. So Owen, Y7. So Owen, here's what the strategy we're employing here, which if you give less than 8, you need to explain why is it 1 or 2 players you think should be switched around, why a 7. So not only the number, but give your rationale. Because to me, 7 is somewhere in the middle of the pack. People don't normally go below a 5, because unless you go extreme with your team. So 8 and above, I can say, you know what, that's the team. 7 and below, 7 to 5, or 7 to 6, I'd say you have some reservations. 5 below, people just don't like a team. So let me know, people. So Owen gave 7. Who else? Go ahead, Rico. You can still talk. I'm waiting for the rating.
Yeah, man.
Yeah. Low already come at 8 for me. So Owen say low. Owen say if I beat you for low. No, I beat you, but they must say
no.
You can't have low in a film team. You have to have somebody in a film team.
No. We can't leave with them anymore. Because it's gonna start.
Yeah.
He's gonna start.
He's gonna start. Yes, I agree with that. Signals Media saying 8, and I yeah.
And but what I think the coach will do, he's gonna put Low in midfield, and he's gonna have a back 3 of Pinnock, Hector, and maybe Bernard.
Right.
That's what I think the coach will do. The same wing backs and the same 3 up top, but have Low for Anderson and Hector in the defense. That's what I think he will do.
Right. Yeah. Look, I think the Low experiment in midfield has been tried and tested, and it needs to go.
Yeah, we've seen enough of that right now. I want to run up and down, make some tackle. When I go beat him in the middle of the park, ball over top, counter, we're under pressure.
Yeah. The problem you have is when you play midfield and it's not a disciplined way you're playing it, and you're playing against very good players, there's gonna go around you, right? You go out of position, you're not protecting the bat for, you go too high up the field, they're gonna play around you. So even though Low does cover a lot of ground, he's very physical, he tackles really well. I think really the positional awareness and the awareness in the midfield about where I'm positioned and the spatial awareness where I am, I think that's very difficult. If you don't play midfield on a consistent basis, you may be able to recycle the ball, you may be able to protect the back four, but those awareness, where am I positionally, that's going to prevent things from happening versus rushing in someplace and then the ball plays around me is very important. I don't see Low on the bench, on any bench, anytime soon.
But I would bench Mikel. I would bench Mikel. He hasn't scored for a while.
I don't know which team. It's very interesting, people, because if the coach plays 2 up top, then his middle is weak, and we already know them. Even if he plays 3-5-2, it's still challenging because he played 3-5-2. He's gonna play Gray and Bobby are still gonna play. Who are you gonna take out? You have to take out one of the midfielders, which then means you gotta take out KCR. So you're really weak in the midfield. I don't see how he plays that, because you play 3-5-2. You're gonna take out Palmer or Anderson and put in Antonio. That team looks really suspect that way.
Yeah, and then I don't see him playing a back four. Yeah.
Yeah,
But,
yeah.
but for this game, I will start Kara. If not Kara, I will start Hector in midfield.
Right.
Be
So your
honest.
team is what you think the coach is going to start, not what your team would be.
Oh, my team for this game?
Yeah. The one you gave us is the one you think is going to be, not what you're picking your team, not the coach's team.
Right. So you would want me to pick the coach's team?
Yeah. The one you gave me, is that your team with Low in it, or would you pick the coach?
My team, yeah.
Oh,
It's
okay,
my team.
okay. So pick the coach's team. I thought Damian Lowe is for the coach's team. What's your team? Or what's the coach's team? I'm sorry. What's your coach's team?
All right. The coach's team would be Pinnock, Hector, Bernard, back three.
Wait, Pinnock, Hector. Oh, okay. Pinnock,
Mhm.
Hector. I'm making some assumptions here, right off the bat, when you said that. So Pinnock,
so
Hector, and who?
yeah, Bernard
Okay.
on the right hand side of it, yeah.
Yep.
And then you would have Greg Lee, Dexter on either side. To the middle, you might see, or you will see, a Damian Lowe beside a Casey Palmer, which is weird.
Okay.
And then that's a four in the middle. And up top, obviously, Gray, Boza, and Reed.
And who?
I don't think, and Bobby Reed.
You think the coach will bench Antonio and play Boza?
I think so.
Okay. So this is what Hiko thinks the coach's team is going to be, which is probably not going to be far off. I still think the coach will be challenged to bench Lati based on his US performance, but he may. I think you're still challenged to have two slow center halves because you're playing against speedy forwards in some cases, even though these are very composed defenders. I think it's challenging to have Low in the midfield, given the quality of the midfield, because all the midfield for these three teams are good. So the coach has some decisions to make. Young Sking yeah. There's a view actually, Iko, that Katie Palmer has not produced the goods. Do you agree with that sentiment?
Yeah, it's not, but I have seen where he would have made small improvements each game.
But you're playing Copa America, the second biggest competition on the planet in football. Well, third. So World Cup, Euro, and is my view, and Copa America, at least from a national team perspective, international perspective. And
my reason for playing Casey, we don't have. If it's not Casey, then who?
Well, the question is, do you play K. Roy, who's more versatile in terms of offensive and defensively versus Casey? Beside Low,
well,
yeah.
Karai beside Low.
No.
Oh.
I mean, yeah, Karai beside Low, yeah.
Oh. I don't see that happening actually.
So Claudine is saying, Claudine is saying, if you bench she said, I'm gonna read exactly what she said. She said, bench Rich Antonio with two question signs, not one, because she have to challenge it. But then this coach football knowledge is questionable. So Claudine, how do you justify playing Antonio when he hasn't scored in the last 6 games for Jamaica? How do you justify that?
And Boza had scored.
And Boza scored in the last 3 or 4 games. Boza scored.
He's the reason why we're in the Copa.
Right. So Boza scored in the last 2 World Cup qualifiers. He scored against Canada. Antonio hasn't scored. So how do you justify that, Claudine? Please respond.
If it was EPL, Antonio wouldn't be starting.
Yeah, he probably wouldn't. You're right.
No. I don't see Dixon getting any game in this competition.
Yeah, so Signa's saying you think the coach will start Boza because he scored in the last 2 games. He scored in the last 3 games. He scored against Canada the last time. He didn't score against. He didn't score against. We get Nations League actually, right? So he didn't score against the U.S. And who scored against Panama? It's slipping me now. I can't recall.
Yeah, that's slipping me.
Huh? I can't remember who scored against Panama. People, I forgot. We scored
the 1-0. The 1-0.
Yeah.
I think it was Dexter. The Cotil.
Oh, Dexter with the screamer. Yes. How could I forget that? So he didn't score the two Nations League game, right? It's two defenders who scored. Greg Lee scored and Dexter scored. But at the same time, he scored in the game against Canada and he scored in the two World Cup qualifiers, even though one would say they're lesser teams. So Claudine is saying that Antonio has to start. Otherwise, one's football knowledge is challenged. And I'm saying Antonio doesn't have to start because he doesn't score enough.
No.
He's got a lot of great attributes as a footballer, but he's not putting the ball in. He's not even getting the position to score. There's one thing to score, There's nothing to get in, like how you see Dixon get all those chances. He got the chances. And one would say, well, Cranky, Antonio will get those same chances. I'm not so sure. I am not so sure.
No.
No, I know Mikel didn't play, Chris. We're talking about more Boza, Chris, about the Nations League game. I know Mikel didn't play. But Mikel played in the second to last World Cup. He played against Dominican Republic, and he played in the Gold Cup. He didn't score. It was hard not to score in the Gold Cup. Everybody scored. Russell scored. I think Bernard scored. Everybody scored in the Gold Cup.
Everybody scored.
Except my center forward.
And yeah, that's true.
So Claudine is saying, his intangibles are far too valuable. Well, I hope one of his intangibles is putting the ball on the goal. His main tangible, Claudine, not intangible, because intangibles to me are supplements, additions. They're not the core. He's missing the ability to put the ball in the net, which is what his job is.
You know.
Come on, Claudine. You're saying the coach, no coach not telling center forward to score a goal, Claudine. That not happen. So I'm sorry, Ika. She's saying that Cranky the bird brain coach asked him to do a job. The coach bird brain. So Claudine, based on your comments, you're saying you're not supporting the coach. So sorry, Ika, but I'm just jumping on her comments. Go ahead, Ika. The floor is yours now. Yeah, call. Yeah, talk. So.
Yeah, man. Yeah. But I wouldn't start Anthony. He hasn't been scoring. Been scoring.
Yeah. Look, I think Antonio's a better all-round footballer than Shamar, to be honest.
Yeah.
But right
just
now,
like great people.
Yeah, but right now he's not putting the ball in the net.
Yeah.
And some people are saying Antonio hasn't gotten chances. Exactly, people. Exactly. You can't play the football field and not get chance. Let me talk some pattern. Can't play the football field and not get chances. When you play the football field and you play foul, you not get no chance. When you play the football field, you play Owen, Claudine, Chris. Please tell me this. You play a 5-game in a Gold Cup, right? You don't score one goal. And you play more than Boza, because Boza never get enough game time, and you get most of the game time. You tell me if you play a 5-game and because the coach will play a certain role, that's why you not get chances. No, that's not the case. Come on. No, your movement gets you chance to score. Your movement gets you a chance to score, not just because, you know what, you're not getting the ball from your midfielders. Why are the other players getting chances then? Why is Boza getting chances? Why is Cephas getting chances? Why is Gray getting chances? Why Bobby Reed get chance? Why other players get chance? I not get no chance. I'm my center forward. I understand that.
And if I'm being honest,
wait. Know yourself. I don't have Damien in no two-man midfield. Where you beat me? Know yourself. I don't my midfield. I equal midfield on my midfield. And you can pick what the coach pick. I don't even equal midfield. I coach midfield, team and pick. And we know the coach here. So don't beat me about this. I've said this numerous times. I like Damien Lowe as a player. He's not a midfielder. So don't beat me. Know yourself. Don't put him in midfield. No, sir. I watch him in midfield, and I've said this. I have to say this, like people then go back and say, Damon, Cranky said this about you, and people get no. Just don't know. I misheard him. I'll say what up on my mind, which is this: his game against Canada, best game I see a Jamaican footballer play. Most impactful game. I should say best game. Most impactful game I've seen a Jamaican player play, or any footballer play in any football game ever. You just think about it. You come on, you move, you play in one half in a certain position. You play a defensive midfielder now, and you dominate, and you create goals on the other hand. That not happen in football, people. So anyway, because somebody's calling us, I'm going to leave you. But thanks for the call. Yeah, man. Bless up. Thanks.
Bless.
Yeah. Good evening, caller. Who am I speaking to?
Yes, Frankie. Good evening.
Who am I speaking to?
Yeah, Aaron.
Aaron, how you doing?
I'm good. You're based in Canada?
I'm based in the US.
Okay, okay, so that's good. I was just about to call you on WhatsApp, but no problem.
Okay.
Yeah, so I'm gonna give my few thoughts on the team, on the coach, and
Okay.
on the players. So basically, I was analyzing a game last night with Argentina and Jamaica. Um, that game, Jamaica play more defensive game, more conservative at the back, and I see good passing areas in the game sometimes when Jamaica have the ball. I don't know if because it's a friendly, Argentina was more relaxed, but Jamaica have some good position in the game. You know, when I see them passing out the ball and that. But one thing I just need a coach to do. I know he's not a possession coach. He's more like a more counter-attacking. It's more like a long ball and a poster striker up front. But I was watching the game, and if the coach only can implement the wing backs, on the towards the line, deep towards the line, and have the two center backs, playing that more pivot role so they can pass the line side to side and going forward. But this Reggae Boys team, lately I've been watching them, they're just being stagnant when they're passing the ball. They've been not really prolific when they're going attacking forward. So if the coach only can just have the wing backs, because they're gonna play a three at the back. So that can give us more time on the ball and have the wing back Wrigley and Lambekisa on the line, playing as a right wing back, and have the two midfielders and the three attackers up front. Two attackers up front because I think the coach is going for a 3-5-2. Most frequently gonna go for a 3-5-2 because he's not gonna leave out Mikel. I don't know why because I just don't. They played the last four games and I don't see them playing good. I just think Mikel is playing as a false 10 in the midfield and Mikel do not play his best game. Do not have the legs to go forward and pick up the ball and just go run at the attacking. No, he don't have the legs to do that. So I just play him as a poster striker. Mikel have more attribute than Shema Nicholson, but Shema Nicholson is a striker that he always in the right position at the right time at the right place. So I would definitely start Shamar up top because giving Bose a chance, he's probably going to get 4 chances and score 1, which Mikel Antonio is not going to put himself in that area to get that chance to score. So I would definitely go with Bose up top. And I'm going to give him a formation. I think a 3-5-2 with Latibo there and Ethan. And I will go with at the right centre back. I would go with Bernard. And I would
Wait,
definitely
so
go with
what's your back three?
Lats because Lats can play left back, so I'm gonna put him at left centre back, and Ethan as a sweeper, and at the right centre back I play Bernard because Bernard is a right, centre back player, and I will go with I was kind of itchy on Lamekisa playing that wing role, like right wing back role. I would probably put Bobby in that position because they have the athleticism to go forward and defensive purposes. Bobby's not a defender, but I'm gonna put Lamekisa at the right wing back, and then the midfield I'm gonna have Casey Palmer, and I'm gonna have Damian Lowe, and I'm gonna nick in so that's 3 in the midfield, and I'm gonna nickel Cephas on the right wing back position. I'm not gonna start Gregory because I feel like
You're starting Cephas? Boy, you're gonna do so well. You'll get beaten, You start Cephas versus Greg
no.
Lee. Yeah, for one, you're
Why
from you
not?
No,
Why
it's your
not?
team. It's
I
your team.
mean,
It's your team. You play Cephas at wing back.
Yeah, we'll go because he have the speed, And
Okay. So you have Cephas, Palmer, Lowe, and Dexter across.
Yes.
Okay.
So that's 4, right?
Yes, that's 4.
And I would nick lean. I will put I'm a nick lean Dewar Gray as the 10. It's more It's more like a 3-4-3. So I'm gonna nickel in Demari as the 10. But that's why I'm saying I will play Cephas because going forward, Cephas, we don't need to play this whole defensive game and just go for it. Just gamble it. We don't need to play.
Your team have no chance in know what of being on the field. Because this coach who is a defensive specialist, there's no him put Cephas to play a wing back. You know that, right? Me and you know that. So your team still in, but yeah, and me know that.
Yeah, I know, but I know that Cranky would. If you look on the Mexican, we are more faster than the Mexican.
Right.
Why go so defensive while we have attacking players? But if you look on what I'm saying, you go a 3-4-3, you already have three center backs, and you also have Damian Lowe that can give some work, some helping. So we got help that we can help Cephas on the right. I see Perisic play right center back for Tottenham, and he got defensive player that help him out. So why not go for that? Because we're going to play attacking football. Greg Lee's not going to give you that going forward, I think, personally. So that's the reason why I want to play Cephas right there as a 3-4-3, and then I'm going to go with Demari Gray on the wing, and I'm going to go with Shemar, and I'm going to go with Bobby on the right wing. That's only one. I just feel like when you put that team out, only player I think not going to start because, as I said, the coach is more defensive, is Cephas, and you're going to replace him with Greg Lee.
So you think you think this is a team except for Cephas and Greg Lee? You think this is what the coach will pick?
Most definitely, he's gonna go with Lat, Ethan, and he's gonna go with right center back Bernard.
Look, it's not the worst. So if you take out Cephas, there's no way Greg Lee doesn't play. You and I know that. So Cephas won't start. But if you take out Cephas, this is a feasible team actually that the coach could play. Except I don't think he's gonna bench Antonio.
So I'll say he would take out Boza.
Either you take out Boza or you play two up top, but then your middle is going to be weaker than it is. It's going to be, I don't think we're going to predict the exact team the coach is going to play. I'm not sure he knows what he's going to play. Because if he wants to play three at the back, it's hard to play two up front. If he does, then who sits on the bench? Gray's going to play. It's going to be in the middle. He has choices, right? Because he can flex in the middle. He can flex with Palmer. He can flex. He's not going to flex Low. Low's going to play. So either Low plays in the defense or he plays in the midfield. He's playing as the captain. No way he's on the bench.
Right. Or, as we see in Canada, Damian Lowe can play if we're behind and we need, more like a attacking defensive midfielder. We can put in Kirai and take off probably Bernard and put Lowe at the back.
Right.
If that's a choice as well, because I see him do it in the Canada game when we wasn't playing a 3-5-2, but 3-4-3, but we was playing a 4-2-3-1. And in that game, I see Damian Lowe come in the midfield. That's a plan B also. But if I only could wish the coach would make one change, it's Cephas. And I would want to see how Cephas performs. Right. Because he's fast and he got the ability to go forward, which Gregory is not going to give you that. Gregory is more of a conservative player than Cephas. But I just want the coach to take that gamble to put that Cephas up at the right wing back to see how he performs. Because it's not hard, it's all you train the players, And going forward from here, after Grimmy doing time, I want to see the JFF go for like a more Spanish coach, see if they can recruit a Spanish coach. Because if I feel like we get a Spanish coach, we play more better football. And that's what I see. And that's what I want to see the country do.
So Carla, your last suggestion is better than Cephas playing left back. So I think you're onto something. And I've had a discussion with Rudolph, which is this. We keep recruiting the same type of coaches. You need to have somebody come in with something different that can blend with what you have to create a masterpiece. And right now we just have a plain vanilla thing. There's nothing on the top, and you need the position piece to be coupled with your athleticism and your speed to create what I call the optimum footballer. And right now what we have is the speed, and we have the athleticism and physicality. We don't have the technical component that we need. And that's where you're right about Spanish influence comes in. Okay, if you can keep the ball and you have all these other
Mhm.
attributes, it will get you over the line.
Right. Look on Damre and Panama. Look on those two teams.
Yeah, Donrup is
Look on
getting
those.
better. Frankly, Donrup outplayed us, at least possession-wise. Obviously, we scored. They didn't create
Right.
a lot of chances, but they don't have the forwards up front, but they were good up until they get to the 18-yard line, and then they run out of ideas. We need to be able to do that, right? It's also more
Right.
pleasing on the eyes. So don't disagree. Don't disagree, Colin.
So, okay. Do you feel like Damre have a JSF budget compared to Damre is more? JSF have a more larger budget than them?
I don't
'Cause-
know who has a larger budget. I don't know. I know Damrep has been really building out their football team. If you look at their youth teams, how well they're doing in this
Okay.
region, it suggests that they're much more, instead of just focus on baseball and athletics like they historically do, they're expanding their remit to now focus on football. I'm sure this World Cup here is an influence for people in this region, but they look like they are really trying to improve their football, and they're starting
Right.
more grassroots, and obviously going to have the Spanish influence. And you can see it in their play that they have that Spanish influence.
Yes, and we also has been in the last 10 years. You know, Damre is building. We have been successful, and it comes back to the leader of the JFF. What are you doing with all this money? Damre I don't think Damre female team been to the World Cup, and our women national team been to the World Cup twice. We've been beneficial from that tournament, and we also have a medal in the Nations League. So the income is improvising in the system. We're getting the money. Why can't we look forward and be like, okay, because I don't think this coach is gonna make what I see based on the callers calling on the program on different platforms. They've been cussing and furious about how we play. We're not gonna play any different because this coach know how to play that type of football. So we have the players to play that football easily because we have top players that play in the PL. We have players that play in the second division in the English Premier League. We have players that's playing at top level. So why can't we implement that style of playing, which is not hard? And I don't think the coach is doing enough for us to go that route, for us to play that football. So if I was in the JFF, Cranky, I would get a coach from a Spanish background that plays that type of football. It's easy. We don't have to find the best coach. We see Canada have what's that coach that used to coach Leeds United? Coaching Canada right now?
Yeah, the American.
Yes.
Yep.
I watched them against France, man, and they was competing. And this is a team that we beat almost 8 months now? And they were competing against France. Because that coach has the identity. He has an identity. He has a plan. So when we play against Mexico, yes, we have a defensive plan, but what about building up from the back going forward? And this is the problem that we're going to keep having. This problem hasn't been solved since whenever, I know what time, since we went to the World Cup 1998. We have a plan going forward. And I see in the last two games that we played against Denmark and Dominica, that is the reason why this team gonna come at us and we're gonna look vulnerable.
Yeah, so caller, someone is saying
we don't have position. Once we control the game, this team's gonna get 8-7-6 because once you have the ball, they're gonna chase it, and when they're gonna be tired, we're gonna have the ball. That's why we're not dominating these games. We don't play these smaller teams because we don't have the ball at our feet. We're kicking long balls every time. That's not gonna make us better, currently. I don't think that's gonna make us better. So if we can get a Spanish team going near the future after arguing the contract run out, we need to get recruit a Spanish coach. This is one of my dreams. If the JFF can do, and they will be smart and a smart investment.
All right, caller, appreciate the call. You make some good points, and I totally agree with the concept of trying something different in the coaching ranks. Maybe a language barrier, which we're going to consider, but we should try something different. Thanks a lot, caller. Appreciate it.
All right, man. Yeah, man.
Bless him. Yeah, so some good points there. I think the CFA situation sort of killed this team. There's no way. Someone was trying to call a while ago. You can call back. There's no way the coach will play CFAS there, even though some people take that risk, right? You see when somebody's calling the wrong line. If you're calling Dennis, you gotta call his number because we call it your name for national on YouTube. There's a 347 number. Yes, this is better. Good night, caller. Who's calling?
Yeah, this is Dewar.
Who's this?
Dewar.
The War. The War. How you
Yeah,
doing? Good night. How you doing? What do you have to say?
I'm doing good. Yeah, I'm just calling to just like make a statement. I think they're giving the coach a hard time because if you look at it, this coach he came in right. He has to be begging players to play for him. He's courting players. He's begging players like come play for Jamaica, right? He has no crowd support. He basically is doing this and he's winning games, right?
Right. He's winning. Yes.
He's winning games with like the environment that he's working in is not suitable for a coach to be winning in. He's getting the players to come who wants to come and he's winning games. They're thinking that this is a Brazil team. The call I disagree with him that just came on because he say, "Oh, look at Jesse Marsh in Canada." The thing is, when Jesse Marsh went into Canada, he got all his players. His environment was set up for him to do well. This
Yes, they
coach
have good.
has to
Yes, they
be
have good players. I
building
agree.
stuff.
Go ahead. Go
He
ahead.
has to be building everything out. They don't even have money to do stuff. And he's winning games. He's not winning pretty, but this playing style will come along.
But caller
It
is
will come.
caller. Let me just stop you there. Answer this question. September makes 2 years. I
Yes,
would bet that the average life of an international coach is probably less than 3 years. I have to
yeah.
look that up. I would assume so. So you don't have a lot of time. And I hear in the comment section, or see in the comment section, I hear people are saying, well, the coach doesn't have time to implement his system. How much time do you need to have a style of play? If you don't do it each window and keep emphasizing it and showing how it should be done, then it will never get done. So we'll never
That's
see a style of play that we all want to embrace with this coach.
that's true. But if you look at it, we don't even we JFX is not even it's not even getting them the games to play so the coach could fit them out. All right. The coach was playing a flat back four and he was letting in goals. Then he'd start to use three at the back. That's a traditional Jamaican setup since Rene Samois. If you guys could remember the 1998 campaign, it was Durant around that sweeper, it was Linval Dixon and Ian Goodison.
Right.
And then it was Shorty Malcolm on one wing and Ricardo Baby Gardner on one wing. We always play five. I mean, you could put the wingers to go up and the three defenders back now because modern football, but it was always three at the back for Jamaica. It's a traditional Jamaican system. Durant Brown, Ian Goodison, and Linval Dixon. Then we had three midfielders, Cargill, Whitmore, I forgot the other one. And then we had two
Simpson,
strikers,
I think it's
Fernando
Simpson, I think it
and
was.
Walter Boyd. Yeah.
Yeah.
So it's a traditional system. That's why they look good and they're not letting in that much goal because they're not playing flat. That's the original system for the Reggae Boys. Three in the back, two on the wings, three in the middle, and two up front. But now you could put four in the middle and one because they need a man like Michael Antonio to do whatever he does, or Shamar Nicholson, a big man in the front. Yeah, but the coach is doing good with the time that he had, and Rene Samoes got from like 94 to 98. He got like 4 years. This guy's in 2 years now. He's doing good. So they should just let him fix it. I mean, you guys on YouTube are doing a lot of work. You showing him players. You telling him this system don't work. You telling him all of that. It's good work. But I think sometimes the fans they're giving him a problem, and he's doing well with what he has.
But so are you pleased with the style of football and the quality of the football we're playing?
I am not pleased with the style of football, the quality of football, but I know it's gonna come because when the team gel, because if you look, he consistently bringing the same set of players. So when the team gels, it is gonna there you are going to see the style of football that you want to see.
So
When
let's break on that gel. Let's take a step back. So do you believe, why is it that everyone has expressed the concern about the midfield? So you're saying they will gel. Do you think gelling will help the midfield?
I mean, I watched him the last cycle in the World Cup qualifier, right? And he brought in two midfielders. He brought in Karai Anderson, and I think it was Adrian Reed. Those are two good midfielders. DJ, he used to be the midfielder that we used to supply the passes, but he's not good defensively. So he's kind of playing himself out of the team because when he's supposed to come back and help defensively, he caused one of the goals to score in one of the games. I think it was in the game against US when he was tracking back. The guy run past and he was tracking back slow. So I mean, he's a good player, but I think his defense work is weak.
Yeah, look, I mean, DJ is not in the team now, and one could say his play has not been where it needs to be. But has DJ been worse than Casey Palmer, for example? I think they have been similar. So I think the midfield does need some help. I think Keroy, even though it was less opposition when he started, has played decent. So we'll see him. Look, the quality has stepped up significantly, especially in terms of ball position middle of the park. So we'll see what happens. So, Carl, I appreciate your call. Thanks a lot.
Problem.
Thanks a lot. Have a good evening. All right, people, the numbers run across the stream. It's 347-728-8625. You know, so we finish 8 o'clock, right? And it's like, I'll take one more call before I close out. And it's 8:30. I had planned to finish at 8 because I wanted to do this a 2-hour show, not a 2.5, 3-hour show, but that hasn't worked out. So I'll take one last call. If anyone will call, I'll close down. But I'll say this. I know Claudine is beating those of us who may think Antonio should be on the bench, Claudine. But Claudine, answer this question. If the player now score, what do you do? And Chris is saying, and Chris, that's been, these people talk about how much time you need to gel. Most national teams don't get time to gel. We expect the players to leverage the skills they have, the ability they have, what they're learning in their career, and bring that together when they come together as a team. And this concept that, the coach have to get into gel, and they need, how much coaches see I getting on 3, 4, 5 years? When a coach goes into a club team, right? It's not his players, They may have a playing style. He may want to change the system. He has more time to work with them. But a lot of times they get fired after a year or 2 years. Look at Ten Hag. They want to fire him the first year. The man win 2 trophies after 2 years. They still want to fire him. They miss Champions League coming up next year, and I hope they keep continuing to miss Champions League. That's just my view as an Arsenal fan. But at the same time, how much time does the coach need? Is 2 years in September. 2 years. Yeah. No, yourself said exactly correct. The main reason the coach is not stern and the players are not peak fitness, that's why. Yeah, look, they may be at peak fitness, and I know they have a lot of equipment nowadays and a lot of tools to help know where the players are in terms of fitness, how much they have run. They get statistics from the teams. It's much more scientific, right? We still can't keep the ball, no matter how scientific it is. All right? We still can't keep the ball. It's not good. Claudine, call again, Claudine. You're not busy now. Call now, Claudine. Calling. It was busy the last time you called if you already want to call in because someone was on. But Claudine, calling now. Calling right now. You're the last call for the day, Claudine. You can close out the show. And you can beat those of us who think Antonio should be considered for the bench. I say bench him, should be considered. It's either Antonio or Nicholson up top, but we should not play both of them. We can't have two Titanic players in today's football. I know it was done today by who did it? Vlahovic and Mitrovic played for Serbia. Let me talk about Serbia. I'm mixing up teams now. They play today. They play for your team today. They mix it up. Yeah. Against England. It was Serbia, yes. Against England. Getting confused with so much football. But it's not a normal thing. I know Inter does it, but most people now play two up top. That's old school football. I assume they play those two because they're probably the two best players. So when they get them both on the field, you can occupy more defense with them and probably create more opportunities for others. But now play two up top actually. All football. So people, if I don't hear call in a minute, I'm going to close the show down. And first of all, if you've been in the chat and you haven't subscribed, please do so. If you haven't hit the like button, please do so. And if you're here and you think others should watch this program because you think it provides some value, please share. Chris says, Cranky, please tell me something Agams to do well and tell me the difference with him and Tapa. What Agams to do well? Well, I think defensively, he set the team up not to lose, right? We played the US and we could have won the game. They were the better team, let's be honest. And I did watch the game up close and personal. And I think people like Errol were there. Errol Phipps was in the chat were there. They were the better team to me, but we played well enough to win the game, and we could have won with a ricochet goal off Burke, right? So that's good. And we beat Panama, and Panama didn't normally dominate us, frankly. They didn't dominate us all in that game. We were good in that game. So you got to give credit in those two games in Nations League where we played well. There was no Antonio there. There was no Pinnock there. There was no Gray there, people. I mean, Gray played the second game, I think it was. But in the U.S. game, we missed all those players, and we still played well and could have won, which is a lot about the team. People like Cephas who played well. And if Cephas had scored the goal, he should have scored 1-on-1 with the keeper. We'd have won that game. They beat us in overtime, 3-1, but we could have won that game easily. It would have been the final. So coach has to get some credit. Having said that, Chris, I'm not impressed with the style of play. I'm not impressed with the system of play. I'm not impressed sometimes with the selection. I'm not impressed with the changes. And how is he different from Tapa? That's a great question. I'm not sure there's a material difference. We're still playing the same long ball. I think Tapa played. I think he's made more objective decision on players who played than Tapa did, to be frank. But I'm not sure fundamentally in terms of how we play, there's material differences. And I think we're in both instances we're organized because we have good defenders. But I think the organization is even more so with this coach. He also have strategy and set plays. So the play they scored against the US was the same as other practice in training. Someone take the ball on the line, they throw it to the near post, head over to the far post, and then have the left back or left midfielder come in to head in the goal. That was not by chance. That was a rehearsed play that they had in their repertoire that they executed on and worked really well. So there are some strategies that he's employed, but the one with playing the ball from the back, or not even from the back, playing the ball from outside of our 18 and go to the middle or go wide and come inside, I ain't seen that happening. So that's part of my problem. And also, I'm not totally impressed with some of the selections or the changes made. But you know what? We can't have consensus on that because no one that I know in no country does everyone agree upon who should be in the lineup, who should be in the squad, who should be in the team. So we're going to have differences. But there are things different. These decisions that he make that I question. But, you know, one could also say he's been winning. He hasn't lost too many games. His record is very, very good. Probably one of the better ones for Jamaica, frankly. I know Tapa has great winning percentage. He could be. I got to look up this record. It could be one of the best. I know John Barnes had a good record, but he wasn't that long tenured as a coach. His was short. So we have to look into that. But no, the coach has been winning. Winning ugly against Haiti and Jamaica. Win ugly against Dominican Republic. Win ugly against Dominica, even though we should have scored a bunch of goals. And there have been other games which have been interesting. And one could say, do we beat the teams we're not supposed to beat? Well, we weren't supposed to beat Canada, frankly. Not the way how we got dominated. We beat Canada. Right there, wrongly. Should we have beat Panama? I don't know, but we know when it didn't beat Panama, we beat Panama. So there's some games he has won that historically we haven't won. Yeah, know yourself. Whether they've been ugly or not, is a winning. Nobody care about ugly winning on yourself. 10 years from now, everybody thought we beat Canada and we were Nation League and go semi-final. Nobody talk about how they win ugly. So yes, it was a brutal win. But also know yourself. You got to think about this. In Jamaica, we should have scored a number of goals against Canada in Jamaica. You know, the favorite son missed some sitters. 3 I can recall. Sitters, basic goals. So that also has to be considered. So we may have won ugly against Canada in Canada, but in Jamaica, we had chances we didn't put away. Easy chances too, not difficult chances, which would have made the score closer in Jamaica, or we could have won in Jamaica. And then again, the low situation may not have occurred because we wouldn't have put low on and play midfield because we didn't play safer. So you have just, I just answered the phone that didn't occur. And somebody is calling me that me 1 second, people. If you just call the 347 line, please call back. You got cut off. I'm not sure who it was, if you cut off or if you got cut off. I want to take this call. You know what? Maybe I'll just try it myself. Why don't we do that? I don't know if I have the wrong number here. I'm trying to call the number that has called me. Someone's calling me directly, actually. They weren't calling me on WhatsApp, which is interesting. But if you just called, you can call back, actually. So Rick, it's a call. If you just call the number from the, I think it's a, you can call back, actually. I won't say your number out on the stream, but I'm going to close the program down. The person is not calling back. RR said, Cranky is the most high-profile team in CONCACAF. You think so? Who's the most high-profile team? RR, Jamaica? Chris is saying, Cranky, look at the USA squad. Nobody's saying anything about because the coach set the best players. You don't see any questionable selections. Yeah. Well, I think this coach is. Look, I think there's a narrative that the JFF is selecting players for the national team. I don't think so. Good night. Good night. Who am I speaking to?
Claudine.
Claudine. How you doing, Claudine? Good night.
Good night, sir.
All right. So what do you have to say, Claudine?
Cranky. The problem is, and I'm still mad at you.
I can tell.
Still mad at you telling about Dixon over Antonio. Oh my God, Cranky.
Well, wouldn't have
I went to bed mad, wake up back mad, and still upset. Come on, Cranky.
That shows you how low I am, Antonio. No, Dixon's a good player, by the way. Here's the thing, Claudia. You can't beat me for that because, you know, we haven't seen Dixon given the chance that Antonio's been given. Until
Cranky.
Then, you can't beat. Even though you play a lower league football, you can't
Cranky.
beat me. Yes.
Cranky. The thing is, I'm not beating up on Dixon. I'm saying the guy has talent.
Right.
And no disrespect, but he is a developing player.
Yes, I agree.
He is not ready for this. I saw him in the last game, and more than once, the guy was pushed off the ball. He needs to bulk up, weight training. He needs a lot more. Antonio, there's only one redeeming thing you said. Antonio, I do not think Antonio and Boza should be on the field at the same time.
So who would you start? Who would you start of the two?
Antonio and Boza don't complement each other. And by the way, revisionist Jamaican, let me remind you that Boza will get 7 opportunities to score, and we'll probably put you in 2. So stop it.
So you play Antonio, but Antonio don't get any opportunity to score. Isn't that a difference?
Unfortunately, with Michael Antonio, the last game he was in, this was me going on. Someone please tell me, where's Antonio? Is he on the field? And then I'm watching the game really closely and I'm wondering, what's Antonio doing so deep? We have no midfield. We have absolutely no midfield. This guy has to go back down deep. So hold on, how many times do you think Antonio can go back go all the way to the half line, collects his own ball, and create his own goal. Wanna what? Miracle?
So here's a question, Claudine. Why didn't he score a goal in the Gold Cup? Not 1 out of 5 games.
Cranky. Even Messi has a slump. Please, even Messi goes through slumps.
So Claudine, can you
But
afford it?
as I
Claudine,
said,
one second,
the
Claudine.
man's intangibles are he's a guy that holds up play.
Yeah.
He's a guy that, he plays well with Damari Gray.
Yeah. But
He
Claudine, can you
better
afford a
link
center
up.
forward who
He
doesn't
plays
score?
better link up. He plays a better link up game than most. No, I hear people talking about Cephas. Oh my God, that made my head explode. I saw the guy once, and who did I call? I said, hold up. He's fast, like lightning, yes. But apart from that, what else? And by the second game, the other teams has figured him out. This is football, people. Do you think we don't get the opposition? If your players are one-trick pony, how many times can you do the same thing?
Well, look, we agree that Cephas needs work, but he has some attributes which you can't teach. Yeah, he needs work. His decision making needs to be better.
Kanki, he has problems that you cannot teach. It has to be innate. And by the way, let me ask a question. I watched Cephas now, and the only time I've ever seen him pass the ball is when he passed the ball to Dixon or Boza.
But that's two. No, you can't. He said all the time. No. That's 2 passes, 2 goals.
But is there anybody else on his team?
Well, maybe he has. Maybe he has blinkers. Maybe he has blinkers on. In horse racing, you have blinkers on, so you can't really see outside a certain periphery. Maybe he has blinkers on. He just sees straight ahead. Maybe he can't see right or left. Because you're right.
You mean just like how our coach cannot seem to understand that we need a bloody midfield? Come on. By the way, let me ask this question. Who on this team has this coach recruited?
That's a good question, right? So the question, the K. Roys, the Lemberkeys of the world, did he recruit them?
They came from Paul Hall.
Right. So I don't know. I don't know who he's recruited actually. It's a good question.
Seriously, he's been here 2 years. Who even let's give Liam Bailey his flowers. Liam Bailey has recruited.
Yeah, no, I know the coach has contacts, and I thought he was doing a good job of recruiting because if you think about the players, which players are coming on his domain? I can't recall.
This is 2 years. Tell me a player that he has recruited and brought into the fold. Because Omari Hutchinson, Paulo.
Yeah.
Bailey Kalamatari was already a target by Paulo.
But I don't recall Paul Hall bringing in any player. But Claudine, we're giving Paul Hall credit. I've always called him out for not recruiting any English player.
No. He has. Paul Hall has assiduously recruited players. They may not have come in at the same time, but they were called and were being recruited by Paul Hall.
Okay. Yeah, no, the coach hasn't bring in too many players of his own volition.
The coach hasn't, but I have not seen one player that I can say, whoa, that was an Aldrin's recruit. Okay, fine. I hear that we're going after Mason Greenwood. But hearing and hello, some of the players has been to Jamaica, but they have not. To date, I haven't seen them in the team.
Yeah, so I'm getting beaten from people saying we're using one of the worst teams to judge what Dixon is. But people, you can only use what's in front of you, right? You can only use the available.
Because
right?
trust me, I was sitting there going, oh no, Cranky did not.
Okay, Claudia. So Claudia and Chris, let me ask you guys this though. Back up. So answer this question. Did Dixon and Boza play the same game? Right? They played the same game, correct? Okay, it's the same opposition. Who looked better to you?
Dixon and Boza?
Yeah. They
I'm
both played.
still
They
gonna
both.
go with Boza because Boza had some the same intangibles that I'm giving Antonio. I'm saying Boza has over. It's the thing is with Dixon, he has the one, and I rate Dixon over Cephas. Why? Because Dixon has football IQ.
Right, but I'm just saying. People are saying he played against. They're saying he played against inferior competition, and what point I'm trying to do is an analogy, which is this. So if I have Dixon and I have Boza play against the same team, and to me Dixon didn't look worse than Boza, probably looked better, frankly, got more chances, movement was better, work rate was better. Why would I say Dixon doesn't seem to provide some of the qualities I'm looking for to play off the center forward? I'll probably play Dixon off Antonio than play Boza off Antonio. Because you're going to get more from Dixon mobility-wise playing the 10 or 9.5 than you get from Boza. Boza is more of a true center forward. Both he and Anthony, none of them to me really are good playing the 10. Or
Michael Antonio is not a true 10. He plays more of a 9.
That's what I'm saying. So neither of them is a 10. But if you're playing the two of them up front to me, one is like a 9.75, a 10 versus 2 9s. So in essence, I think Dixon's better.
That's why I keep saying I would not put Antonio and Boza on at the same time. I don't belong. They don't mix.
Yeah, no, I can't fight that. I would agree they shouldn't be on the field at the same time. But the coach is playing them. Like, he keeps playing them.
That's why I'm telling you that this coach is a bird brain.
Yeah, he needs. Yeah, well, we can't help him. We can't help him. And he's and the JFF is pleased with the coach, because he's winning, which is the most important thing.
Of course, the JFF is pleased with the coach. They get to put in who they want.
No, I don't think. No, I think the coach they pick his own team. That's what he says.
I'm wondering. Well, he needs help. We need a technical director because obviously he wears. I mean, I'm sitting there. This is 2 years now, and we have no midfield. And I'm sorry. The reason why I have this bias, and I will agree, I am biased against this coach because of his hypocrisy. The day he says that Ravel needs to go because Ravel does not have a club, and the next week he did something that made me go, "What the hell?"
Right. So here's the Claudia, would you fight the coach?
Done it since then.
So you're not Ravel disciples, but Ravel is not playing any football, so we can't talk about Ravel, right?
Well, actually, Cranky, there was 3 EPL team that was going after Ravel. I don't know if. Well, we all know Ravel. I don't know if Ravel had turned up to any of their things, but there was 3 EPL team that was going after him just 2 months ago.
So Claudine, someone in the chat said I can't have you, Claudine, the coach, bird brain. Well,
tell that person there's such a thing called freedom of speech.
So Claudine, what would you do with the coach? Would you retain the coach? Would you fire the coach? Would you keep the coach?
I would give at this stage we can't be jumping to fire a coach.
Okay.
We have to think in terms of contract. What his contract says. Jamaica JFF already cries that they don't have any money. That's one thing. So therefore the contract is there.
Okay, if you don't have contract restriction.
I mean, we can put in someone called a technical director. Someone who comes in and helps him pick, make because come on, you mean to tell me all the players that we have had, both here at home and abroad, we can't come up with 2 decent, half decent midfielders.
So Claudine,
can you imagine what Mexico is gonna do to us?
Well, we play Mexico well, don't we? When we play them nowadays.
Yeah,
we not in the Gold Cup, but we play decent. Yeah, we have them. We have decent. When we have Pinnock and them in the team, we play them half decent.
Yeah, we play them half decent, but come on, Cranky. I've said this. I've said this, and it's a bit mean to say. We are gung ho to make World Cup, but my question is this: say by some miracle, we make the World Cup, right?
Right.
We get there. Then what?
Then we'll do like we do in 98. 98 we went there, we beat
Well,
Japan.
hello.
Yes.
But Cranky, we went there 98. Yay! Hallelujah. We don't want to just go there again.
No, but that's what you hear Rudolph and others are talking about. Rudolph Speed, right? Is putting a system, processes, structure in place to make this process sustainable and not a one-hit wonder. I would be a two-hit wonder if we go back to the World Cup.
But Rudolph Speed speak talk the talk, but does he walk the walk?
Well, I
Action
think
speaks louder than
I agree
words.
with you. So he is in some way. So if you look at the accreditation for coaches in Jamaica, the coaching clinics that he's not clinics, but coaching courses that he has been overseeing, putting in place, getting people educated, getting their certification. He's doing some of that. Now, obviously, they have to do more. But go back on one thing that you said that he said before, which is this about technical director. He said in the coach's contract, it clearly stipulated that the coach has the coach's right to pick the players who he wants to pick, and the JFF can't interfere with it. I think that's contractual, so they can't break that contract, which is why I say the coach is the one who picked the players, not the JFF or anyone else, because in his contract it stipulates he does so of his own volition. So you can't pick for him. He picks the team. He picks the team and he picks the players. So therefore, any decision made about the players, unless it was financially, they can't come, is the coach's decision.
Ricardo Baggio, you seriously ask a question like that? If Antonio has football IQ? Really? Seriously, dude?
Well, no, I think Antonio has football IQ.
That question does not require an answer. For me to actually answer you, I'd be as dumb as a doorbell.
Well, no, I'm not going to knock people's IQ, even Cephas's people want to. There's a difference between, do I have the intellect?
I'm not talking about their intellect.
Right.
I'm talking
about football intellect.
IQ.
Yeah, I understand. Even some players you think don't have football IQ is because they have developed bad patterns of how they play, bad behavior on the field, meaning not bad behavior being unruly, meaning I have the ball, I've been encouraged to dribble all my life. That's what I do well. That's got me where I got to. So I'm going to keep on dribbling. Versus saying, you know what? Play the football on its merit. When dribbling is there to be done, you do it, given facts and circumstances.
That's why I said Antonio will be given a job. And you just like Bobby Reid. Bobby Reid will be given a job and Bobby Reid will go out there and execute it. It may not look pretty. It may not be a glory thing that he's scoring 10 goals, but he's doing a job and he's doing it damn good.
Right, I hear. People, please hit the like button if you come into the chat. You haven't hit the like button yet.
That's the same thing I was saying to you, Cranky, that when I was watching and I was looking for Antonio, I kept watching because I'm like, this guy's missing in action because I'm expecting him to go towards goal just like you. But I know he wasn't really doing that.
So you're saying you would start Antonio? So
listen, this is where I'm flexible. If the coach starts Boza and then take Antonio off the bench, I don't see a problem, but I just don't think both of them should be on the pitch at the same time.
So we agree on that one.
One can start and the other come off the bench. I would take Boza off the bench. Sorry.
Yeah, I mean, to me, I'm flexible with either of them starting, even though I think Antonio hasn't scored enough to justify starting.
No, I would take Boza off the bench. Reason being, you're putting remember, you're talking about Mexico. And this is Antonio's upside. They know who he is. They know his reputation. He will occupy 2 or 3 of them.
But does his play align with his reputation?
And his hold-up play is good. Like I'm saying, he has a very good link-up with Demarai Gray.
Right.
But Cranky, I mean, like I'm saying, he's in a slump. But you know that cream always rises to the top.
Yeah, but Theme Cream not right. Something wrong with Theme Cream because he now scored. So Ravel feeling cream.
I can't remember one time you was beating Ravel, you know. I remember you Jamaicans were beating my Ravel. Bad,
No,
bad,
no,
you
no,
know.
no, 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 no. Me not beat Ravel. Me not beat
And then
Ravel.
my
No, no,
Ravel
Claudine,
went into a
Claudine,
game and
Claudine.
show you his
No,
class.
Claudine, that's not true. I am the person who get criticized for saying Ravel should play even though I don't have a club. I beat Hector. There's a difference. And I've come around on Hector over the last 3-4 years. I used to beat Hector 2019, 2020. I've come around on Hector and Ravel. I don't think I've ever beaten Ravel.
Hector was given a job.
No, Hector to me wasn't his first Copa America. I wasn't impressed. Subsequently, I was impressed, but I saw him up live in Orlando in 2021. I think it was during COVID, and I was impressed. And I've been a Hector proponent since then. But I've always been a Ravel proponent, by the way. I've always made excuse for Ravel, even though he makes bad decisions all the time. But in the football field, I think Ravel is someone with certain skill sets that we don't have. Not yesterday, now tomorrow, we're not having any time soon.
The only person I really see that would be a really good replacement for Ravel is Amari Hutchinson.
But Amari is not really a midfielder, is he? He's not really a midfielder.
Yeah, he's not a true midfielder, but he can play.
He can play the 10, but he can't play the 8, right? He can play the 10, he can't play the 6 or the 8.
He can't play the 8. He can play the 10.
Yeah.
He can play the 10. And I think we should, I've said it before and I'll say it again. What do we have to lose? Give Delano Splat a chance.
Yeah, you know what, Claudine? Someone has brought it up to me a while back. They mentioned Brandon Cover and Splat, and given how well they're playing for their academies in this under 21, whatever they play, as to why they don't get an opportunity to play or bring them into the team. We're bringing in some of the younger players. So the question one can ask oneself is, if you're bringing in the Reeds of the world,
we bring in Dix now. We're bringing
Reed,
Whisper and these guys. I'm saying, give Splat a chance. Give the young man a run out. I wouldn't really put him in, but we put Dexter in fire and Dexter came out.
Yes.
Goal.
Yes.
So give Splat, let Splat get an opportunity. We can't get any worse. We have no midfield.
Yeah. No, by the way, Claudine, did you subscribe? Have a check with you.
I haven't subscribed yet, Cranky, because you upset me.
Wait, Claudine, you have to play a game with me subscription. I don't understand, Claudine. You have to play a game with the subscription thing.
Give him a likes.
You give me a like, but you're not coming. So is that?
We're not coming to you,
You're not married to me yet. Yes, instead of love thing, you're not lighting versus not love thing. We don't understand you, Claudine. As I'm lighting you, know.
We can't come to you.
You come like the Jamaican man them as I'm lighting you, know, love thing. You know, commit.
Because you frighten me, Cranky, when you're concerned about Dix Nova.
No. I said that Anthony is not scoring. I need an alternative. My alternatives are Bowser and Dixon. I've been impressed with Dixon's play, and I said he has to get more opportunity. Doesn't mean I don't rate Antonio, but you got to start scoring. He's like Balogun playing for the US. They chased him for 2 years, and he come in. He's been poor.
J-Ross, you're bad. We have Marshall. Yeah, right. J-Ross has a point. This guy Marshall. Seriously? If we can give these guys call up in the team, why can't we call either Splat or Brandon Covers?
So how would you assess the coach's performance today? Summarize it for me. Summarize it. Okay, we're soon close now. Summarize the coach's performance today.
The coach, as far as he annoyed the hell out of me when he was putting players outside, to play out of their position, out of position. That part annoyed me, but every coach does their thing. So I gave him, he was okay. But the moment he came with the hypocrisy, he turned me off. He turned me off to the point where I started giving him 5s.
Oh, okay. But so you judge him more on the field of play and his result versus the shenanigans?
I have a problem. He has a problem with when he's to make he's improved a little bit. But when he's to make changes on the field, it takes him a while to switch out players. To me, this coach like I said, my major problem with this coach is his selection. His selection is horrible. I'm wondering, it's technical. The technical side of football is not his. As a defensive coach, he's okay. But come on, we need a balanced team. There must be a balance, because how long we're going to be the team that just park the bus going nowhere? No one to advance the football up the field. And then we beat Antonio with a sledgehammer. Score when he's not getting any service. And other teams, I'm looking at Grenada walking through our midfield like, hello?
What do you mean, Grenada? What do you mean, Grenada? We don't play Grenada. You mean Dominican Republic?
Yeah, yes.
Okay.
Walking through our midfield like they think it's a corn piece and you just come for boil corn.
I live a country, so we know about the corn piece. I live a country, so we know about the corn piece.
We're going into South America. We're going into South America. We're going to face players. Hopefully, we don't come up against Colombia and some of those.
Well, we're playing Ecuador. We're playing Venezuela.
It will be good.
Yeah, we're playing Ecuador and Venezuela.
It will be good for us to play these teams because we'll get a feel for another. But come on, Cranky. That's why I keep asking this question. Okay, so fine, we make it to the World Cup. Then what?
Right. So I do think what normally happens is this, as you said earlier, inferred, which is we're building a sustainable model to allow us to go to multiple World Cups, not just one. And hopefully we can continue to enhance the squad during this process of qualification. By the time 2026 come around, we'll probably get players will improve. We'll get some better players. The ones in the squad hopefully will improve. So we can compete at the World Cup, not just be there to visit and leave, right? But if we put the mechanism in place and the structure in place.
But I'm saying, yes, exactly, Cranky. We need to do that. And one of the ways in which we will do that, pick the damn best players. Forget where they were born, if they even come from out of Mars or Venus, if they're purple, pick the bloody blessed players. And stop letting me sit down there going, huh?
I can't disagree with you, Claudine. Can't disagree. I mean, I've always talked about the concept or idea that if you're a citizen, you should be eligible for all rights and citizenships, all rights and privileges afforded a citizen. It shouldn't be that, you know what, I was born in Jamaica, so I get more opportunities. We should treat everyone the same. If we're going to give them the passport and the citizenship papers, then they should be allowed.
Then give them the opportunity.
Yes.
Let them prove their worth.
Yes, I would agree with you.
I mean, it's just like with Lambakisa. When Lambakisa came, Fuzzy decided he's not good enough. One try he got in the national team, and he's there permanently.
Yes, and he came very young.
I'm saying,
he came, what, 19?
We have young players. We have young players like Splat, Brandon Covers. I see Chris Smith was saying Casanova. I don't know much about Casanova. So I don't really like to talk about players I don't really know much about. But I've watched Splat and Brandon Covers. And I think I heard JD talks of another guy. What's his name? Mother something. These are young guys. By the time the World Cup come around, they'll be right within their peak. Put them in. If these players can compete against the others that are currently there, let them compete and prove them. If they're not good enough, then they're not good enough.
Well, I'm glad you're agnostic.
The excuses.
Yeah, I'm glad you're agnostic as to where the players come from, who gets in the team. I think that's important. And I think you're very open-minded about just wanting the best players regardless of their birthplace. And that fairness and equality and all that should reign in terms of how we pick the national team. So I think you should be lauded on that, Claudine. Not being parochial like some people.
I don't care where they come from. Like I said, I don't have a problem with Dixon because I see this guy can improve. He will get better.
Right.
He will get better with time. But the national team is not there to develop players.
I don't know about that, because that's not how we operate as a country. We think it's a developmental squad.
That's what I'm seeing happening in Jamaica. But I mean, people will go back, oh, Bibi was all much, but when Bibi came in, he played. He didn't play like some squad.
Yes, and the coach found Bibi, right? He found Bibi. He was what, 17 when he came to the squad?
Yes.
There was an established
but
player
when
there
Bibi
who,
came in, he fitted in like he was playing a long time.
That is true. That is true.
So you can't justify saying, oh, well, when Bibi was young. No, it doesn't work. Look at Hendricks. And hear some people talking about Gel. What the hell? Hendricks wasn't playing in Brazil's national team. The guy went in and he played like he was playing a long time. People say, oh, you can't compare Brazilian. Well, read the guy's backstory. He wasn't in an academy. He was playing street ball. And then he got a club. And then he climbed to where he is. So why can't our players play street? Bibi wasn't in an academy. He was playing street ball and then he went to Harborview. Why can't our other players develop that? Even Dixon was in a good system. Obviously, because he has a good football IQ. His positioning is good because he is in the right place. It's just that I think he needs to go to the gym. He needs some more body mass.
Well, you know, he's young enough, so your body take a while to develop.
I see him kick a ball towards goal and I fell over laughing. There was no power in the kick.
But they say he's scoring a lot in training, actually. That's one of the reasons why the coach love him. He's been putting the ball in net in training. But so
yes, but training is one thing. Coming out on the field, facing your opponent is a whole different ball game.
True. I like the player though. I think the player will do well going forward.
And I do.
Yeah.
I do. Like I said, he has a lot of upsides. He's young. He's hungry. He'll get there. But what is our objective? This is what I keep saying. What is our objective? To get to World Cup.
So, Claudine, I'll close out the program. You'll close the program for me. So, take me home, Claudine. Take me home.
I'm taking you home by saying, Grimmy, sometimes you just have to man up and make the hard decisions. We don't make decisions to make everybody. Obviously, you will never make everybody happy. But if you go out there and choose the best players, then that's all we can ask for you. But it does not look good when you're out there saying one thing and your action and your words don't match. The hypocrisy thing, it just doesn't fly. It turns off other people. And if it turns off us, the fans, can you imagine the players?
Claudine?
So I'm just saying, man up and take the reins and make the right decisions. Don't know if you can redeem yourself in my eyes, but hey, every man needs a second chance. So get out there and make the second half of your time worthwhile.
All right, Claudine. Well, Claudine, we appreciate the call. Thanks for the summary. This call was brilliant, frankly, in pointing out a number of things, including beating the host about him thinking about Dixon versus Antonio as if his head got hit or something. But I appreciate you, Claudine. I appreciate you being here. And Claudine, not only do you need to subscribe, you need to go out there and get about 100 subscribers to add. Because if you haven't subscribed yet, and just hit the like button, Claudine, boy, I tell you, I don't understand you.
Well, we hit the like button.
All right.
Because the discussion good. But like I said, this is a marriage. And if the one of us is going left and the other going right.
I thought the man always make the woman them wait, Claudine. But a different thing you work on a different thing.
2024, Cranky. 2024.
Yeah. All right, man. Have a good night. Appreciate you.
Have a good one.
All right. Thanks,
No
Claudine.
problem.
Appreciate it.
Bye.
All right. That was Claudine providing her perspective. Very good perspective on players, the team, the coach, my views, her views on the coach. We appreciate it. People, we have come to the end of the program. It's been great being here. It's been great having you. I appreciate you being here. I appreciate your comments. Before you leave, if you haven't done so, please hit the like button, share, subscribe, and I'm going to take you home. And I know, so I have a little thing on my door. I'm going to call it rap because that would be over exaggerating, but me want to take it home. All right. So peace out, people. Have a good evening. And you can go watch West Indies play. You can Afghanistan, even though I don't mean nothing. You can go watch the NBA finals. We can talk about it. I will not be here tomorrow. I have someone in family passed away, so I have to go take care of that business. I will not be here tomorrow, but I'll be back on Wednesday, and hope you can join me then. All right? Take care. Frankie Life is the best to be now. For the best sports talk, and it's free, yo. Frankie Life will be your guiding light by keeping you informed both day and night. Frankie Life, tell them. Frankie Life, heed them. Frankie Life, want them. Cranky Life. From the courts to the field, we'll never lose because Cranky has the hottest news. With expert analysis, we break it down. Our in-depth coverage is best in town. Cranky Life, tell them. Cranky Life, heed them. Cranky Life, want them. Cranky Life. Cranky Life, where the sports is spicy and where we keep the discussion lively. Cranky Life, get to know the name because Cranky analysis is never lame. Cranky Life, give me my Cranky Life. I want my Cranky Life. Must have my Cranky Life. Whether it's football or track and field, you know Cranky is at the wheel. So join the journey through victory and defeat and subscribe and don't miss a beat of Cranky Life. Tell them, Cranky Life. Heed them, Cranky Life. Want them, Cranky Life. If you're from England or USA, from Kingston or Bombay, from Kenya or Canada, Lagos or Havana, visit Cranky Life. Tune into Cranky Life. Like up Cranky Life. Subscribe to Cranky Life. Cranky Life coming to you on weekdays. Cranky Life sometimes on Sundays. Pull up a chair and take a seat because Cranky will always bring the heat. Cranky Life. Me say fi tell them Cranky Life. Me say fi heed them Cranky Life. On them Cranky Life. Cranky Life will be around. Cranky Life is the best in town. Me say fi heed them. Me say fi want them. Me say fi heed them. Want them, heed them, want them. Cranky Life. Cranky Life. Heed them. Want them. Heed them. Want them. Cranky Life. Cranky Life. Heed them. Want them. Heed them. Want them. Heed them. Want them. Cranky Life. Cranky Life. Cranky. Heed them. Want them. Heed them. Want them. Heed. Want. Heed. Want. Heed them.